Well, I mean, the furthest humans have ever dug down, which I believe was 12 kilometers, which is the Russian deep borelet hole. I believe it was 12 kilometers, close to like, I guess, 7.8 miles. That's the furthest humanity has ever dug. So if you have, if you've went down further and you've discovered a hollow earth, then by all means, believe in it. But
I'm not
if
talking
there's
about digging, like I'm talking about two entrance points at the south and the north.
I think it could be possible.
There are charts from Second World War. Hitler actually charted inner Earth. There are actually charts of it.
I'm definitely not denying that. I haven't looked into it. I just want to focus on the flat Earth because we know it is flat. We know it is level. We know it's a plane. It could be, there could be some sort of basement, I guess, to the Earth.
Right. It works on a flat Earth. That's what
right.
It's basically the underworld. It's the under part of like in the cosmic egg or the spherical universe. It's just the bottom.
Right.
It's the other side of the Earth. Yeah.
All right. Point blank. Do you have access to voice text for everyone?
Yes, voice text for everyone.
Actually, go to the lobby.
It's the lobby.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's posting in there. I just because it's hard to understand this without really looking at visuals, and you know what I mean. Because so I'm just gonna post some stuff for you here. This is just basically horizon observance from sea level, mountain level, balloon footage.
Wait, listen up. Okay, I have a question. So where does wind come from?
Anyone?
Would you say wind?
Yeah.
Isn't it differences of air pressure?
Change in temperature. When hot meets cold, it creates wind. It's simple. It's called convection.
So like, I have a bottle of water in front of me, and like I'm looking at it.
Whenever you have a heat source and you move around heating stuff up, where hot meets cold, it's a low pressure versus high pressure.
The Earth was spinning, it was making wind. Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, wind doesn't prove.
Do you ever feel 1,000-mile-per-hour winds? You wouldn't be standing.
Exactly.
No, I don't know that.
Well, yeah. In the globe model, they claim that the entire atmosphere is clinging along with the Earth. Therefore, there wouldn't be any effect on the wind. Although they still want to say that bullets will curve with Coriolis. So those two things are totally contradictory.
Okay.
Right. Someone said yesterday there's aircrafts that go faster than bullets. So how do you factor? How does that factor in?
They're just not the same thing. You don't understand.
So if the Earth is flat, then why is like everyone lying to us that it's like round?
Oh my god!
It's because the government's trying to hide it from us.
I'll post some.
No, it's a valid question. It's just that there's a lot there. So
yeah,
it's a legendary question.
The whole nother topic, yeah.
But
because we can discuss like what the actual shape of the Earth is, but then we also could get into like speculation of that why there's somebody telling us it's a globe. But those are two very different discussions. But
yeah, they definitely.
Right now we're kind of sticking to like, is the Earth actually?
Guess at it anyway.
Yeah, because we want to prove that it's basically either a spinning ball or a flat Earth. So that's kind of what we're here. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
But really quick, the reasons they lie is they definitely hide the fact that there's free energy. They hide more resources. Hidden knowledge. They hide the firmament. They hide the North Pole. They hide the very South Pole. And at the very last, I think the most important one is they hide the fact that of an intelligent creator, God. They hide God. Basically, they hide the significance of what you are. Because if you believe in heliocentrism, you believe that you're an evolved piece of stardust, I guess, that, some monkey fish frog freak that, like, I don't know, came out of the water and, divided its cells and, evolved into man, which I think is
you came from nothing.
Yeah, you came from nothing, basically. And the Big Bang Theory is absolutely ridiculous. It completely throws out God out of the question or a higher intelligence.
How about the multiverse? Like there's a multiverse. Like we came from another universe.
That's a tangent off of that. But yeah, I just like the why they would lie is generally that. So, as far as
if we can create this dimension with our consciousness, I would say for sure, in my view, that there's infinite other possibilities of what, in terms of multiverses, different dimensions. Yeah, I think it's all infinitely possible.
Like I'm more into like it makes much more sense if you think macrocosmic and microcosmic. Like you can see the universe at the macrocosmic level and the universe at the microcosmic level, and it's like the same. Like you could find in biology, in between the cells of humans, there are electrical currents happening. These electrical currents are the same as like a star could be. Like it could, potentially be like microcosmic universes living just in between the atoms, even. Like
yeah. Light Brisk, Killian, and Point Back. I don't think you'll see anyone. I'm just gonna post some photos in the lobby. If you go to the lobby text, just some stuff to get you to, question, because it is good to have visuals. Some stuff to look at.
Are you putting them in the voice text? Because that's usually where we're chatting, so everyone can see them.
I was gonna put them in lobby, because I think the voice text people are talking. I don't want to spam.
Yo, Nick.
What up?
Ready up.
What do you mean? You're in Fortnite?
No, bro. Feel free to spam there, dude. We're not gonna get mad.
Man, put it in there, because that way everyone can see what you're talking about.
All right, yeah, I'll put it in voice text for everyone.
Technically, that's what the lobby's for, to cite your sources for the voice chat.
Right. Yeah, I just wanted to give some visuals to you guys, so you can see some like high altitude footage, high altitude photos.
Rings.
Oh shit!
I know.
Right after you said that too, it's perfect timing. This is where we cite our sources.
Yeah.
What is very strange is like when you do planes, do ride planes as well, and you actually ride it at nighttime, you don't actually see a lot of stars.
Right. Yeah, the stars appear to fade away as you go up in altitude. That's correct. Like their electromagnetic energy changes, or there could be a couple different things going on there, but yeah, and then also with the sun and the moon, they look fairly large to us down here, but when we send up high altitude balloon footage, like of the eclipse when that was done, and of the sun and the moon, they're like tiny up there. They're tiny little dots, but somehow like through the ether when we're down here, they look like these glowing lights. It's kind of interesting.
That comes into the light bending theory. Like if you look at the horizon, you can only see as far as the eye perceive, right? But if you take a telescope and you actually zoom in, you can see boats like very far away that you wouldn't be able to see with the natural eye.
Yeah, the horizon is an apparent position, not an actual position. It's where the sky appears to meet the ground due to the limit of eyesight.
Yeah, exactly.
But it might be just that we can't perceive it because it's too far away. It makes it too small for our eyes to be able to catch it.
It's the limit to your eyesight.
Nick.
But you are able to zoom really far, like really far.
Actually,
dude. I got a red pill.
I can't see my buddy from 2 blocks down the street.
I just got to do this for Point Back. Are you looking at any of these photos I'm looking at? I'm posting?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah. So just, I mean, this is ridiculous, all this stuff. I mean, if you ask me, like, this is where NASA does all their recordings and their fake CGI. I mean, you can even go on YouTube right now and just type in, like, NASA fuck-ups or, they've been caught lying so many different points.
Unfortunately, like nowadays with the YouTube search results, it's kind of brutal because no matter what you type in, the first several pages are just all misinformation, bullshit, like all of those kind of flat Earth videos. Like even if you type in the name of the video, you still don't even get it. It's crazy. They've got the search results completely tuned to make it almost impossible to find any really good flat Earth videos. But if you, but obviously here we can help you get good videos.
Right, and that's why I would keep coming back to this server and keep doing more research. Personally, for me, it took 4 months of my own time dedicated. I got hungry for the truth. I really wanted to know this stuff, and I set out on a quest for knowledge and truth, and I studied. I watched a lot of videos, a lot of great content, a lot of experiments and stuff, and I came to the conclusion that all the science and evidence proves that the Earth is actually flat, and we have been lied to, and I became a flat earther after about 4 months. So you're not going to get this overnight, but at the very least, I can plant a nice seed for you today, and that way, when you go into school tomorrow, you can ask your teacher, "Can you show me an experiment that shows the water curves?"
I don't go to school. I only go to life.
I'm talking to these three young gentlemen.
But what if, like, this plane that we are talking about, this round, flat Earth plane, what if it was like a farm, like a genetic farm, and that it makes sense to think that this place is round because every other body in the sky is round, This is the conclusion that is more natural to take in, but that the plane that we are on is actually artificial, and that we are only on a genetic farm for aliens or whatever, humans or what the fuck, What if they just needed slaves in space? It would make perfect sense to make a farm and make a lot of stupid animals, that could work, and just transfer them away if you ever needed to.
Yeah, I think that's I'll never believe in that, because I believe in the biblical creation of the earth. I believe we're all made in God's image, and the Bible actually says the earth is flat with a dome and closed system, just exactly like how science proved. So for me, I think God's existence is very much validated in the sense that aliens, I don't believe they exist. I do believe they're demons. If they are such green-headed alien little freaks, I think they're demons.
I don't believe in demons or angels or anything. I believe in nature, and I think that all kind of nature is able to do harm and positive. Like, it's only a matter of charge, right? Like positive, negative, like dark, light. Like, is nature itself dancing, to transform itself into something out of the natural or from an equilibrium.
I just don't believe that at all. I'm sorry, I have to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm a man of God, so I mean, I had a born again experience after becoming a flat earther, so I can't really. There is definitely light and darkness. There is good and evil, but I believe that's the free will we have. It's the choice we have in this life, is to live a life of righteousness or live a life of unrighteousness. And if you want to be evil, then so be it.
Is it righteous for a cat to eat the bird? Like, is it righteous for him to feed himself?
Right. Yes, it is.
Then it is not evil to kill.
Well, it's evil to murder, not to kill.
But then it is a murder, but it is a necessary murder for a cat to be able to live.
The fact is, we are not animals. You're talking about animals. Cats are animals. Yes. Of course, they kill their prey. They feed themselves that way. But we are not. We are not animals. We are human beings.
Right.
We have dominion. Listen, we hold dominion over.
Yeah. There's senseless killing.
But also we have the consciousness to believe that we are doing right and wrong. We have the consciousness to believe that it's right to live, and it's, that, like, the belief in anything is also a human nature. Like, we have to make out a sense for things to be in the way it is. But the cat itself, like, they are actually pretty smart. You have animals that are much smarter than humans. Like, in nature, they are much, much more smarter. You have even the octopus and the squid that Battle was talking about, like the octopus.
Ruling the world.
I mean,
I've never seen an animal usurp a human being as yet.
Sorry.
I meet people every day that I think are dumber than my dog.
But what I'm saying is actually truth, though. You can't like look away from it. Like it's right in front of your eyes as well. It's proof that we are all a part of nature, and if we are trying to climb higher than nature itself, we are just. I think we are actually digging ourselves.
Well,
Give us like the caretakers of nature. We've been put here to caretake for whoever put us here, right? Whether you want to believe it's an alien, we believe it's God. We've been put here to caretake, right? So we need to look after these animals we have been given dominion over. We need to look after this earth, the reefs, the oceans, the forests. You know, we're caretakers.
That's what I mean. But that's also a sense of
man doesn't make up the entirety of the web of nature. We are but one string in it.
But if we are the caretakers, we take the responsibility as nature's own gods, so to speak.
There's a lot of animals we don't have dominion over.
So if you work at a public school and you're the caretaker tending the garden, do you usurp the principal of that school, or is the principal your boss? We are caretakers.
I wouldn't say anyone is my boss. I would say it is my free will to teach whatever I was teaching.
Oh, the principal is your boss and the curriculum's your dictator.
Yeah, they might think so, and the structure might
tell schools
me
work there,
but so. I think it's completely up to me to teach anyone anything.
The principal enforces curriculum that's dictated by the state.
Yeah, but if you look away from what the state is doing and you see,
but they don't look away.
They are. Okay, look at yourself for an example. What are you doing right now? Like, are you teaching me anything? Is it a curriculum?
Free will, whether or not you learn something. I don't know.
Absolutely not.
Exactly.
I was giving you the platform to tell us your stories, and I'm listening to you. I'm not trying to teach you anything. I'm not trying to have some fellowship with you and be your friend.
Oh yeah, sure, but we're only making discussion. I'm not saying that I teach you anything. I'm not saying that I learn anything from you, but it is in our nature to teach each other, and share information.
Right? We learn by example, bro. And people learn more by watching. Learn more by watching and doing than they do by anything. Human nature is most of us have to experience it for ourselves, or it's not a reality.
Exactly, that's what I say. But then, are we in like the position to like even say that we are like put here by God or anything? Like, if we the more selfish we become, like the more human we are. Like, the less the self-focused and self-centered we are, the more we can see ourselves as part of nature as well. But we don't have to make it into like we are animals, like we downgrade our belief in ourselves, like we do in animals as well. Like, I think that animals actually are perfect, intelligent, creations as well as us. Like, they are.
I prefer to look at it as like not one part of the creation is nature has balance.
Yeah, equilibrium.
Any way you want to state it, that's how I see it. But that comes from a Native American understanding or belief system.
But they are more in tune with nature, like
it's not for us to rule.
Past, like,
it's not for man to rule nature; it's for man to live with nature.
Exactly. But that's also very much part of our culture in the north. Like the Nordic people, also they were pretty much the same as the natives of America in this sense of viewing the realm itself. But like, when we teach ourselves like what is bad and what is righteous and what is not, like we become God ourselves. Like, I don't think it is in our position to even perceive it, because we're not big enough. Like, I know what the universe is. I know that the universe is tied into consciousness, and everyone is tied into that same consciousness, because I were out of my body and I knew how, like, the notion of death.
Get me telling. Hold up, Scatafaroni, you're not muted. You muted yourself. Go down the lower left-hand screen and click the microphone We have not muted you. You did not commit a crime. You have done no wrong. There is no trespass.
Before I leave, you guys know the Bible, the chapter and verse that says the earth is flat?
I just sent you everything. There's hundreds of scriptures that talks about geocentricity. I just sent you.
Thank you, Neo. Alright. Bye. You'll have a good day.
Well.
He still hasn't figured it out.
He's getting there.
No, I mean Scatterfaroni. I have to send him how to unmute Discord.
Was that the guy who was just talking? What happened to the guy who was just talking? Was that him?
He left.
Oh.
No, the other guy.
Nobody got in, if that's what you're asking.
No, I was saying, did he mute? Was that who was saying he muted?
No, it was someone else.
Or is that he was talking about nature? Is that the one saying that he thinks you muted him?
No, that's someone else. The one talking about nature is Vitkai, the Viking. And Vicky the Viking. Sorry, mate.
I'm not even paying attention to the lobby, so I don't know.
What was it?
He just wanted to know who was muted, but we've sorted all that out now.
Oh, okay.
No one was muted. No one was muted.
You were talking. You just like cut yourself off, and I thought it was you who thought you were muted.
Oh, that's a bug. That's a bug. I had that experience earlier. Like you're not able to unmute yourself, even though it says.
In and out. Dylan, click in and out of the room and see if that fixes your muting.
Are you saying new members on push to talk?
He says he's not muted now. It's fine.
Try
well, if you've got...
Who the fuck keeps doing this shit, man? Damn it.
And don't say unmute me if you don't have a mic, you silly doof.
But like humbly, like I didn't want to like attack anyone's views, you know, when I was representing my information, and I wasn't like trying to hijack.
You did it well.
Hijack your channel, you know.
Did it well.
Like.
Not at all. I appreciate your input.
Sorry
mate.
if I made you feel that way.
The chat, man. We're here to discuss ideas.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm looking for as well.
What's up, Vlad?
I think we all like to hear everybody sharing their beliefs, and I'm not threatened by your beliefs. I hope you're not threatened by mine, and we can all be friends.
Yeah.
Friends.
No, I was trying to speak in one channel like a year ago about this stuff. I've just been trying to, you know, educate myself. If you get me, like, but if you try to take something up with people, especially someone, you know, they like erupt. You know, you're not able to speak, and like they take your value from you. Everything that you share, like, it's crazy.
He said, hey, a better word is abrasive. They're abrasive.
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
What?
Yes.
Oh, hello. How are you?
Hello, how are you today?
Good. How about you?
You sound robot-y.
I do? Wait.
Or is that just me?
Are you CGI? No. I'm
Yes.
just funny.
Sorry, I work for NASA.
Oh, got him.
Let me see. Is it good now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope he comes back, that Kurt guy. I hope
That's
he
good
comes
here.
back.
You got to add to the conversation today. Where did he go?
Hello,
Scaffaroni.
wait, back. Sorry. My friend's trying to mess with me.
What's on your mind?
Oh no, I just came. I don't really know. I mean, well, where was the conversation going?
Oh, we're
Well, it was going in all ways.
We're
Norway?
open.
I don't know. Huh?
We're
Ed,
having a
we
pretty
were
heavy debate.
the system of Earth. Is it enclosed? Is it an enclosed system, or is there space out there? Is there extraterrestrials out in the galaxies, or could they be some kind of alien people that live around here? Or could they be the government using different kinds of crafts and technology that we know nothing about, that certain people have witnessed or say they have witnessed over?
Okay,
and
so
also time travel, like is time travel possibility even?
well, my view is if we're going by the heliocentric model, which is how I see it, is there's a possibility there is extraterrestrial out there, but it's a chance. We don't really know. I don't think it's safe to say there is, but considering how vast the universe is, if we're going by the heliocentric model of us being kind of like a piece of dust in comparison to the grand scheme of things, there's a good chance there may be. I don't think those stupid accounts of like New Mexico I saw in alien things are really real. I think they're bullcrap. But I don't see the issue with believing that there could be. I don't think that makes me any less special as a human being. But I'd say it's safe to say that there is quite the possibility. So
What makes it a possibility?
I'm just gonna say it, but if we're going by the heliocentric model, right, the sun being the center, us being more of a vast universe rather than a enclosed just space of the.
So you're just saying out of probability alone?
Yeah, out of probability, right? Like out of probability, I say there has to be something, right? I mean, there might not. There's a really small chance, but what could go exactly wrong, assuming that there might be? I don't think we should necessarily be preparing for like some alien attack or something, but I mean, with the vastness of the universe, there might be. The only thing I could say that arguments against that is humans as a unique creation by God, if that's what we're going by. Why would God create a separate thing of aliens with the intellect we have? Which kind of goes against the whole thing of us being unique and having free will. But I don't exactly know. So what's your opinion on that?
Well, we also have the ability to create, right? Like formate, like we produce, yes. And also then it's in nature. See that you were the alien, right? And you wanted to create like a race of beings for any kind of reason, it might be incarnational games going on, and it might be just that they need slaves. It might be just that they are trying to create life and spread life, because it's actually not that easy to spread life, that they actually have to help the universe spread it. Like, you get me? Like the maintainers of the garden only in the universe.
Because I'm a believer in a creator. Okay, my creator in my Bible tells me that we are born into a spiritual war. Okay, so even though we are given free will, we are also born into some kind of prison system
of sin. Is what you'd say original sin?
No, I'm talking about total freaking world domination of a worldwide cult run by some very high powers and principalities is what I'm talking about.
Are you referring to are you referring to like a physical Bible, like a type, or are you just saying as in like the dogma you follow?
I'm saying that I believe that the world is run by very elite, wicked people.
Oh, okay. I took that too literally.
I believe the same thing. Like, it's proven. You can prove this in many ways. There's from all across the world. There are many cases. You can see rituals and stuff. They sacrifice people, and also you see it on these elderly people that they got. They all look like the same. So you see they are also like tied into each other genetically. They are in family, and you can find actually proof of them being in family. Like if you go into their ancestry,
like a royal family, you'd say.
Like a royal elite, like
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
bloods.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I'm saying these types of people, we wouldn't even know their names. We think we know who's at the top in this world, but the people I'm talking about are even above them. They don't even want to be known by us. They despise us. They send people in to speak for them because that's, how elite they are above us in their minds.
And like these are human, right? Or is that what you say?
Absolutely. I'm talking about humans, yes.
So kind of like a corrupt elite above us?
Call them the shadow government.
Okay. One thing
because they run the actual governments.
Yeah, like a world government.
What do you mean by world government?
Like the New World Order, is that what you're referring to?
I think the New World Order would be their army, their dogs. These people, they're above all the world governments. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They rule the world governments at the very top.
Yeah, what is it? One thing I saw, I mean, it's not super related to the argument, but it's, what is it? Is it the Colorado airport that's shaped like a swastika, the horse on front with like blue and the red eyes? That's a pretty creepy thing. There's Nazi imagery in it too. I don't know. It gives you weird vibes. There's a lot of conspiracy theories related to that. And there's, what is it? There's a Freemasonry plaque in it, but at the same time, but at the same time, what I found out is that Freemasons aren't necessarily as creepy and strange as you would think compared to something, let's say, the high elite you're referring to. Because a lot of these Freemasons, you can go and visit a public lodge. So I guess that kind of demotes the whole conspiracy around that, but I'd assume there is some sort of high elite as what you're
find with the Freemasons is that they're
public lodge.
Yes.
They're on a lot of different levels. Okay, so down at the public level, that would be the first degree and however many up, right? That they are on a public level, and I've been to one. I mean, we've got one down the road, and they hired it out for free to a friend of mine a few years ago so that we could go in there and do Christmas Day lunch for the homeless people. So they are very big in our communities and they do a lot for us. But when you start going up the ladder, you will you won't find anything up the ladder because you won't have access. Okay. Now these people are just like say like the police department. You know what I mean? Like they're nothing. They're nothing.
Yeah,
they think they're something. Saying. They think they're the what do they call them? The Illuminati. They think they're illuminated. They think that they've been shown much more than what we have seen, but they still have seen nothing compared to these people up the top.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I actually lived straight across one of the lodges in the west coast of Norway. They are everywhere, and you have multiple lodges in every city.
And here in Australia, we have them here. I've got one about 3 minutes down the road. When we go to our hospital, I went to visit someone in hospital last week. The wheelchairs there were donated by the Freemasons, and it's got their little geometric symbol on the back of the chairs. They have their hands in every pie.
Yeah,
and
they're like a gang. Like I think they're actually like the mafia. And if you go into like the corrupt system in Norway, they use different lodges. Like they have one lodge, and these people, they are like spread across the police force, the child protective services, the hospitals, the fire departments. All that's like official, like state work.
And would you compare this to something, let's say, like the Catholic Church or the church in general?
Yeah, it's like a cult.
Because me as a Catholic, would that make me like a cultic member then?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no.
That's not true. It just depends how deep you're into that organisation. There is many Catholics that I know that are really good people. They don't attend all these churches. They don't get into the organisation or the corporation of the Catholics, okay? They're just normal people that believe in God and have no idea what is going on, okay, in the top rankings of these churches. And it's not just the Catholics, it's the Protestants as well. It's the Anglicans, Hillsong churches. They all have their own situations going on. So please don't feel attacked because you're a Catholic.
No. It's all good. I mean, the one thing I see is that I know a lot of people who are Catholic, but they're just not very good people at all. Like they claim that they're extremely good people who are going to heaven simply because they follow the dogma. They go to church every Sunday. But in general, they're just horrible people. Like, in my opinion, I mean, I don't go to church every Sunday, and I admit it, even though, like, technically it is considered sin and what you should be going to hell for. But I believe that being a good person is better than making sure you go to church every Sunday and then being a serial killer. You see what I mean?
Who told you you should go to hell if you don't go to church? Who said that to you?
Oh,
the Pope.
Pope said that to you. Well, let me tell you, he's a liar.
No,
because God loves you whether you go to church or not. And I refuse to step foot in a church. And God loves me.
I believe that.
I read my Bible at home.
Well, no, let me finish it. So, what I know is that being one of the 10 Commandments, being a mortal sin to not go to church every Sunday and honor God, it's not that you'd go to hell. Here's what it is.
The Commandments don't say that. Where in the 10 Commandments does it say
honor the Sabbath? Honor the Sabbath.
It doesn't say go to church.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. It's on my wall here right now. Okay, it's got nothing to do with the Pope.
Well, and I completely agree with you. What else? I mean, I guess I worded it weirdly in that sense. I don't mean that you would necessarily go to hell. It's if you break the commandment in general, because that's what a lot of people tell me, which I don't believe.
Okay, so if you think, listen, if your church is telling you that you have to stand by commandments to not go to hell, they're lying, because the only way you can not go to hell is if you believe and trust that Jesus died and he's going to cover you and your sins with his blood, right? Because if you don't believe that, then you will be in big trouble.
You know, that's what I completely agree with. I feel like a lot of people are caught up more like in the Pharisees with following dogma rather than actually being a good Christian. Like,
that's exactly right. You're spot on.
Yeah, some people believe that just because, let's say, they go to church every Sunday, they're going to heaven, even though, let's say, they're a serial killer. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot of people are just not very good people, but they believe they're doing all these good things simply because they follow the dogmatic law.
You have to justify, because when they kill someone, they feel so guilty and so bad. So they go and they confess to the priest, and then they feel great, and then they go off and they do their own thing, and then sometimes they might decide to kill again. But then they go back to the priest and he says it's all good. Do you know what I mean? Like, those sort of people are just wicked people, mate.
Yeah. Well, there's confessional law too. I mean, not necessarily, but it's essentially, if you don't mean it to the priest or you're lying, it really doesn't. I mean, what it is supposed to be is it doesn't count necessarily if you're truly sorry. The whole point of confession is to be truly sorry.
The Bible
right?
says confess in secret to God. The Bible does not say to go and confess to men. They manipulated that scriptures that they use for that. Okay, because if you read into the scriptures, the Bible says that you should confess your sins to God in private.
Yeah,
it's not you're not going to be honest if you're standing in front of a man and you're feeling so guilty with something really bad you did. You're not going to tell him. But if you go into your room, close the door, and pray silently and confess to God what you did, that's real.
I mean, I think the reason they tell you that is because, essentially, if I were to go and pray in my room right now saying I'm sorry for, let's say, being a serial killer, even clearly I'm not, it's a lot easier, right? But when I go to a priest, it's definitely a lot harder. You feel a lot guiltier. But I admit, once I get out of the priest, I feel a lot cleaner than, let's say, going into my room and saying, all right, God, I'm sorry.
Because the man justified you in there. And you feel comfort with that man now. So the next time you do something wrong and you feel really guilty about it, you're going to go back to that man and he's going to make you feel better again about yourself. And then you're going to go out and you're going to do it again. It's not going to help you.
I mean, personally, I believe it helps a bit. But yeah, I'd say so, because I feel like, I mean, clearly you can do it again. The thing is, well, clearly no one's stopping you. It's more the fact that, let's say, the Holy Spirit are just morals in general, just natural order. But I feel like typically if I go to my room, let's say, and then pray for forgiveness, it's a lot easier for me to do that than it is. I feel a lot more entitled to, like, I feel like I'm not going to do something again as much, or I'm going to feel more confident if I go and confess it to someone, because it's a lot harder, right? I don't necessarily feel comfortable anytime I go to confession, even though I've done it multiple times.
It's harder to confess to a man than it is to confess to the Almighty Creator.
Yes.
And the Son of God that died for you so you could come and confess to him. You would rather go and see an old priest.
No, I think it's harder to see a priest. I think it's easier to talk to someone like Jesus because, you trust in them.
Absolutely. Yes, correct. So you can be more honest with him in your room than you can be in the church in front of a man.
Yeah, I just feel like when I do go say to another, let's say man or instrument, what they consider instrument of God, you feel a lot cleaner than just saying, oh, hey, what's up, Jesus? I'm sorry for murdering 3 people. But when you go to a priest, it's like, I'm feeling really scared right now. But once you do it and you confess, well, I do it truthfully. I don't just go and cheat my way through I'm sorry.
Do you say, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned?
Yes, I do.
Well, God said, call none thy Father, but thy Father in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Well, I thought isn't it acting as an instrument of God?
No.
I'm saying that to God, not to the
priest.
priest.
Where in the Bible does it give you the authority to do that?
I'm not saying I'm saying it to the priest, though. I'm saying it to God.
I don't believe in
You
Catholicism
just told me that you can't. That you're saying it to the man. You told me you're saying it to the priest.
There's nowhere in Scripture where a man can listen. There's nowhere in Scripture where a man can give you absolute for your sins.
Yeah, I know. Only God can. What I was saying is he's an instrument. I don't say. Well, at least that's how I saw it.
That's not scriptorial either.
Well, that's not. I'm not
Show
saying
me
it
in the
is.
Bible where it references man as an instrument for God.
I wasn't saying it like that. I mean, I guess
there's one intermediary. There's only one.
Yeah, I understand that.
And that's covered with none can get to the Father but through the Son, right?
Yeah, completely. Hello, or is anyone silent, or is it just like can't hear?
No, I'm here.
Oh, I was on.
So you say your confession to God, but you need the man as the altar.
Well, it's more honestly to me. It's just more morally cleansing, like catharsis. I just feel better about it.
What about when he says, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image."
Well, I don't commit idolatry to the priest himself. I don't worship the priest.
No, but you shouldn't have any other gods before God. So if you prefer to go to the priest because you feel that he has more authority than Jesus does in your own home, in your confession, you're giving the authority of Jesus over to that man in the church, whereas that authority and that feeling that you have belongs to God, not to the Pope. The Pope's taking your control away from you and from God.
No, I see what you're saying, but to me, it's I don't. Okay, so let me speak for a second. So it's morally cleansing in the manner. So let's say Jesus carrying the cross, right? Undergoing kenosis, and cleansing, opening yourself, emptying yourself, right? It's a lot easier to, let's say, go through kenosis or empty yourself through, let's say, patting someone on the back, being nice. But it's a lot harder to, let's say, carry the cross. It's a lot more damaging, right? So that's the main thing I go to the priest. It's not because I worship the priest or I see him as authority. I could completely go in my room and pray to God and ask for forgiveness. And I think it's just the same. But when I go to a priest, it's more of a sacrifice. I think everyone can agree that it's much harder to pray to the priest.
You can't sacrifice. Jesus won't accept your sacrifice. He was the last sacrifice. Okay.
Well, I'm not saying it like it's an actual sacrifice. I mean, I guess you could say that as a sacrament.
And the one who's carrying the cross right now, my friend, is you. That Pope isn't carrying any crosses.
The Pope isn't supposed to look. So that is the carrying of the cross.
On his tidy little backside, counting his coins and looking at his control. You're the one carrying the cross, not that Pope.
Mm-hmm.
You are the man of God, not that.
Well, I understand. I mean, I'm not referring to the Pope himself. Personally, I like the Pope more than the last popes because he seems more open to being. I mean, he's just a more open current Pope. So, yeah. But yeah, so what I was going to say is that essentially when you go to see the priest, it's a lot harder So it's more of of course, it's not an accepted sacrifice, but you are sacrificing something. You are making the commitment. You're showing your commitment to Jesus Christ and God. It's a lot easier to say you're Catholic and then sit on your ass all day. All right, my bad.
You're showing your commitment to your ministry and to the one that's ruling over you, the instrument of God, that priest. That's what you're doing.
Well, of course, yeah.
And
because
that's what he wants you to
it's
do.
more of
the priest wants you to do that, but Jesus doesn't want you to.
Well, I think Jesus would want me to show us.
Is this a religious discussion?
Huh?
I just got here. I was just asking, is this a religious discussion?
I'd assume so. I don't know. I mean, I think it's getting pretty religious.
No, it's not.
I'm new here, so like I just need some information.
So I think it's like, of course, Jesus doesn't want your sacrifice, but let's say
he just walked right by you.
Oh, sorry. So let's say you believe in Jesus, right? But you don't do anything. You don't have. I'm not saying about going to church, but let's say you just sit on the couch all day, watch TV, and then someone asks you, you say, "Yeah, I believe in Jesus." I mean, of course, you're still going to heaven, but it's a lot. You want to show your commitment, I think, as being a good and rightful Catholic. So, as going to church and confessing your sins, I'm not doing it to give the church their authority. I'm doing it to show my commitment to Christ and saying through the pain of having to commit these sins rather than just sitting at home and bring it to you and feeling, oh yeah, I did it. Right? It's more painful for me to do it, and I feel it more. And this is just in my opinion. I'm saying personally, I feel morally justified when I go and say to a priest, even if it's another person. It doesn't have to be a priest. It could be you. Like if I sat right here in front of everyone right now, it'd be pretty painful for me to say my sins, right? I don't, even if you guys aren't priests, but I feel just the same. That's just the same to me as going to confession. I don't do it simply because, oh, God says so, or like the church says so. I do it because it's a lot harder, and I feel like if I really want to show my love for Christ, you want to show this commitment, right? And I think everyone can agree to that.
I understand that.
Yeah, I think everyone can see and agree to how it shows your commitment.
I can understand that. I can understand that. I can.
Yeah, thank you. I felt like it came out wrong at first.
Yeah,
I wasn't trying to like I'm a
Catholic belief.
Yeah, and I understand where you're coming from, mate. I'm just not a Catholic, and I'm a non-denominational person, so I feel differently to you. But I respect that, and I understand what you're saying.
I mean, I'm very different because I go to a Catholic church, which is the Archdiocese, which is going all the way up. So technically, I go to a school reigned over by the Pope. It's everything educational decided by the Pope.
Yes.
So
I went to a Christian grammar school, so we were a non-denominational Christian school, so we had a different kind of situation.
Yeah, mine's completely Catholic, so it's a completely Catholic school, and it's by the Archdiocese of where I live, essentially.
We've got heaps of them over here. My nephew goes to one, actually. He's a Catholic. My nephew's a Catholic.
Night, nigger.
Wait, what?
Night, little one.
Oh, okay.
What?
Bitch.
So did they be teaching you that like Pope science?
Run away.
No, what I learned is, so we have a theology class, and they're essentially teaching me about learning how to interpret the Bible. And wait one second, someone's talking to me.
Get it? It's like pop science, but Pope science.
Run away.
You going, Bong?
What up, Bong?
Okay, I'm back. So what was I talking about? How the theology they teach us? So one thing I learned is how to interpret the Bible. And what they essentially said is you have to use essentially the context of their world. Remember, when was the Bible written? Like thousands of years ago, right? Babylonian exile, I believe, was Genesis when that was written. And a lot of this is, so for instance, let me give an example. Let's say they say something like, I don't exactly have evidence for this. It's just, let's say, metaphorical, an example. Let's say they say in the Bible, they talk about unicorns, right? A lot of the time, it's referring to something, let's say, like rhinos. And it's going, if you go back to the definition of a unicorn, one horn, or something like that, that's how you interpret it, right? You would say, in the modern day, we would refer to it as a rhino, but back in the day, they might refer to it as like something, say, different, as unicorn. Like in the Bible, there's some things talking about, let's say, leviathans or something like that, but it's not necessarily, they're not necessarily referring to, let's say, a giant water dragon, right? They could be referring to a snake. And what I learned is you don't necessarily have to believe this is what I was taught, that you don't have to believe in the stories in Genesis are narrative stories. You can, as a Catholic, I am allowed to take them as serious events. If I want to believe, I can say that Adam and Eve did happen. It did happen. But at the same time, as a Catholic, I'm perfectly allowed under the Church, the Vatican, to say that the Adam and Eve did not happen, and it's not heretical at all or heresy at all. So, and I believe in it. What is it? Is it in Genesis where it refers to a flat Earth and the firmament? To confirm.
There's many scriptures throughout the Bible that refer to the Earth's
So what I was taught is,
shall I say, the Earth's condition.
So what I was taught is that because it's in that time period. Remember, let's say there's something. Of course, they didn't have something. Let's say like phones back
So
then.
are you saying? Hang on, before we go on, let me get this right. Are you saying that the verse you're referring to in Genesis is metaphorical, and therefore it disproves that the Earth is flat because we aren't in a dome enclosed?
I am saying that it's metaphorical. However, it's up to you to believe if the Bible.
Stop right there. Okay, you're giving me one verse. I've got on my computer right now, I could pull up 7 verses from Old to New Testament that confirm that we're on a fixed earth. Okay, so don't go there with me. And there's other members in this server that could give you like maybe 50 verses. Okay, so you're out of your league with the flat earth argument in the Bible, mate. So stop there.
Okay, my bad.
And it's a logical fallacy.
Well, okay. Because, I mean, I'll go into something else, but I'm not referring to the thing, but just, am I allowed to finish my opinion? I don't want to get into an argument. I just wanted to finish.
Yes, absolutely. Please finish. I just wanted to say, don't try and convince me because you won't, but go for it, mate. Keep going.
So what was I talking about? Wait, let me think. Let me get my train of thought for a second before I go down into a train wreck.
We're talking about the firmament, and we're talking about metaphorically speaking and how words change from thousands of years ago to now.
Yeah, so
like a rhino, unicorn.
There's what I was taught. Again, so yeah, what I learned essentially is that it's a theological truth, a religious truth. So let's say back to myths or something. Let's say like the Epic of Gilgamesh. Of course, it didn't happen, but it's a theological truth in it that teaches you. It's a theme. So, of course, it's split. The Bible's split. So there's things about historical. So let's say in the historical part, it does talk about the firmament that is supposed to be reviewed as a true thing. But when you're going back to Genesis, there are parts of Genesis. I'm not referring to everything. There are a division of scripture passages. Let's say are narratives that are referred to as narratives, and it's. While you are fine as a Catholic to believe those, you are also completely fine to not believe those, and it's not heretical. And of course, I'm not referring to necessarily this. It doesn't necessarily say this in the Bible. This is referring to the Catholic Church, so I'm referring to the cult itself. Yeah, but yeah. So wait. So I'm sorry. I'm getting my thought.
You're doing really well, mate.
Yeah, sorry. It's a lot harder. I'm like, what is it? I'm like the only globe earther trying to defend my opinion. Yeah, I'm learning some good debate skills. You guys got to help me out with this. You guys, despite our difference in beliefs, you guys seem to know how to argue. So, or debate.
Converse, not debate.
Yeah, debate. Or I mean, sorry, my friend's trying to show me something. Okay, I'm back.
Like deep breathing. Deep breathing helps.
No, sorry. No, my friend was trying to show me something on Discord. So what was I? So the narrative belief. Oh yeah, the theological truth. So Adam and Eve. If you want, you can believe it happened. If you don't want to, it doesn't have to. It's a narrative story. Not saying that goes for everything. You can't just look up the New Testament and say, oh well, Jesus is a theological truth. Jesus didn't actually happen. He's just saying to be a good person. No, that completely did happen. There's historical evidence backing up Jesus, but I mean, we're not going into that because I mean, I'd hope you believe in Jesus, as Becky said. But it's the narrative stories itself that essentially say that are theological truths. So Adam and Eve, there's a theological truth to it, and you essentially dissect it using the words of the past and everything, written in the Babylonian exile, figure out the deeper meaning. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is not the entire Bible is meant to be taken literally. There's parts of it that have truths to them, while there's other parts that are completely historical, like the historical books in the Old Testament. And that's basically the argument that I have. Of course, I'm not necessarily smart enough and educated to go completely into it, but that's essentially what my religious defense against it is. If we're not going by the rationale developed in the scientific revolution and the Enlightenment in Europe. And
okay, so with the Catholic, what are you called? With Catholics, so you can either believe it's literal or metaphorical.
Well, for only
you can
narrative
take it as
stories.
either or either.
Yeah,
how do we determine which is a narrative story?
I believe there's labeled. I almost like let's say genres.
I mean, for example, what about when Jesus was here? Because we know that he deciphered when he told us a parable or a story.
Parables
as when he
are
was
the ones
telling
with
us something
religious
else.
truth. Yeah, it's almost like that. Let's say Adam and Eve is referred. It's essentially more like a parable, right? Adam and Eve.
Do you believe Adam and Eve are a parable?
I'm allowed to, as a Catholic in the church, as in the church, I'm allowed to believe that. Personally, I'd say yes, because
you don't believe in the genealogy of Jesus Christ, the bloodline of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about that, that's a very good point.
Okay, let me explain this to you, sweetie, and I can't remember where it is
Catholics
right now.
really
In the Bible, in the New Testament, it goes through the bloodline of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know.
And it goes back all the way to Adam. So that would say that Jesus is metaphorical and not real either. If Adam isn't real, then how can Jesus be real?
I mean, the only argument I've learned about this too, and I see you are proving me wrong right now. The only other thing I could say to try and defend myself, of course, I see that I'm already losing this argument, is so that's the Gospel of Luke that refers to the genealogy of Jesus, and it goes back all the way to Adam to essentially clarify that he is the Savior of the world. He is from God Himself. Now, if we go back to the Gospel of Matthew, it also goes to the genealogy of Jesus through John himself, and it goes through David and Abraham to essentially show it doesn't go all the way to Adam in that genealogy. It's a separate genealogy.
Well, if you go to David or Abraham,
if for David and Abraham, that's meant to refer to how Jesus is the king and how he is Jewish.
You only have to go back to David or Abraham, and everything past that's given throughout Scripture.
Okay, one more question with that metaphorical belief of Adam and Eve. If Adam and Eve are not real, they're just a parable and they're metaphorical, then how did we come to be? Like, how did mankind come to be?
Personally,
the original.
We were here before Adam and Eve. Like,
I believe
it's part of this in the Bible as well, I think.
Hang on. I was just asking the Catholic.
I'm about to bring up a lot of... This is going to get really controversial.
Man, Catholicism is getting real twisted from my point of view.
Of course it is. I can see all the fallacies now I'm causing. But,
Christianity that denies the bloodline of Christ.
No, I was... Oh my God.
Sounds like false Christianity to me.
No, because, I mean, I can finish that if you want. Of course, I see that I'm already failing. But, I mean, I can try.
No. How can you accept Christ and deny His bloodline?
I mean, if you go by in the genealogy,
how can you dictate a Trinity without His divine authority through blood?
And I can go into that right now.
It's metaphorical, huh?
No, so in the Gospel
at the end of the day, it matters not, because we all agree that we're saved by Jesus, don't we, little Catholic brother?
Yeshua.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter
who something. Like, where does everyone come from? If not from Adam and Eve, like, aren't we all in the bloodline?
Yes, you could consider that. So, in the genealogy of Luke, where it refers to the Jesus as coming from Adam, what I essentially believe is that it's trying to tell us that of Jesus' divine origin, essentially, that Jesus is from God. See, it's a lot easier to say Jesus is coming from Adam than to say he's coming from himself just saying that because it helps people
Wasn't
understand
Adam the
it.
first son of God?
Yes, but I personally believe that Jesus came straight from God as the Word of God. The Word became flesh
Where
under
did Mary come from?
Yeah, you
Where
believe
did Mary come
Trinity,
from?
but it's also not backed by Scripture.
Well, actually,
Where did Mary come from? Jesus's earthly mother. If Adam and Eve weren't ever
right.
Well, so tracing genealogy through Matthew, in which they trace it back through John to go back to Abraham and David to show his kingly origin. Essentially, that's how he's traced back to David the king. That's not even traced through Mary. Mary isn't even related to David or Abraham unless you go all the way back to Adam and Eve, right? But essentially, they go through separate
Jesus isn't
bloodlines.
related to Joseph either. It's
Yeah,
only for the name,
that's what I'm
okay?
saying.
Because remember, he's
It
got
is. It's
special
lawfully.
blood.
He's lawfully connected through that. Jesus is technically not even related to Joseph in terms of the genealogy.
Can you understand that Mary, Adam, Eve, and all of us are just humans, and he was an actual son, the Son of God?
Yeah,
because
he
his
came.
father, the seed came over Mary, who was a virgin.
Yeah, from Angel Gabriel.
From Adam and Eve, essentially.
Is it wrong to pray to Jesus? I mean, do you guys think God holds it against me if I pray to Jesus?
Not really, because he is God. You're not committing idolatry by praying to Jesus because he is the Son of God. Through the Trinity, he is God.
That's like what Buddha
Yeah,
did
the
as well.
Trinity is not backed by Scripture.
That as well.
It isn't backed by Scripture.
Yeah.
Well, if you go into the New Testament where Jesus is baptized by John the Baptist,
the entirety of Scripture includes the Old Testament.
Well,
Scaffaroni.
I believe Jesus is the Son of God, but I don't believe. Like, there's two things, right? Like,
It's
Jesus
the
said God
hypostatic union.
is the Spirit.
Does anybody have any flat Earth questions?
Jesus has two natures. He is completely divine and completely human. It's a hypostatic union.
I mean, if you never consider, like, ever listen to the word Trinity, you'll only see two. You'll only see God, the Spirit, the Father, the Creator, and Jesus. Like, that's all I see. When people say, "Oh, that's because you believe in the Trinity," I'm like, so who is the third person?
The Holy Spirit. In the
God is the Spirit. Therefore, worship Him in the Spirit. Right? Now you're saying there are two spirits. There's the Spirit of God the Father and the Spirit of God the God. I mean,
no, there's one Spirit. He is multiple. Okay, so
it's like an incarnation of God.
This is one of the mysteries of the church. So I'll try my best to try and explain. However, it's very hard because as a human being using rationale, you can't really explain something as spiritual as this, right? But essentially, God is one person, but at the same time, he is the Word, and the Word is with him. So God, at the same time, is Jesus. And in the New Testament, in what is it? I believe it's
Only
the Gospel
in the
of
New
John.
Testament is described that way.
Yeah.
In the Old Testament, he says, "I am Jehovah. There is no other Savior other than me."
Yes, because they're technically the same. They're not technically. They are the same person. It is one person. Jesus.
But then all humans are the same person as God as well, right?
No, because we are not in that.
We are not. How do you know? Doctrine for you. Do you know?
Because we are not God. I am not God.
But then it wouldn't make any sense believing in God even though.
No, because it's a moral thing. I can partake in God's divine nature. That's why he sent Jesus bound down through the incarnation. The Word became man so that we could go up. Jesus went through kenosis, which is the emptying of oneself. He went through the ultimate sacrifice, being the last sacrifice, so that I could enter heaven and partake in God's divine nature. However, I will never be God. I am not God. I am a human. I am God's creation. God loves me. I love God. God wants to diffuse his love with me through Thomas Aquinas. You can see that too. As one of Thomas Aquinas.
What if you were his child? You would be of his, what would you say, spirit and energy, or his creation itself is from his own energy. Then we are actually a part of him.
So are you saying through divinization that you are God?
Oh my God.
Everyone is. Like, everyone is God.
You brought religion.
No, we're not God.
So you're claiming the divinity of God, essentially.
No,
so basically
Adam
what you just told me is that you are God.
I think that's what enlightenment is all about.
Adam is made in the image of God.
All about
and we are made in the image of Adam.
Look,
you guys,
God
made
created Adam.
You know this channel. No offense.
Essentially, God created Adam.
That's why we created a religious lobby.
Yes, Adam isn't God. God created Adam. That doesn't make Adam God. If I went to the people right now and said, I am God, clearly I'm not God.
Are you not of
I
your
think we all
parents?
understand that.
All of creation is not the creator.
Yes, exactly. You're completely right. So I don't see why everyone else is saying, or whoever was saying it, that
Yeshua Messiah existed within the creation.
yes,
As part of
isn't
the
that
creation.
right? So
He
why
was
is
the
someone else
divine
saying
creation.
that they are?
It was me. I'm sorry. It's like in the Buddhist sense of tradition of seeing, looking at things, like everything is part of the universe and everything is part of
You're
God.
saying, I understand you're saying like how
Yeah,
everything's
that's
part of the
Buddhism.
spirit.
He's
wait,
only
so are
arguing
you
for
Buddhist
Catholicism.
then, or is that?
No, I'm not Buddhist. I'm actually just a human experiencing life and the realm as it is, and just trying to find my place.
Bobby.
I'm not trying to be aggressive in any way. I was just wondering because I know that the Buddhist view is that everyone is a part of the spirit and essentially.
Yeah.
That we're all part of the main spirit, and this main spirit is God. So is that what you're trying to say?
I'm trying to say that, but I don't think you have to be Buddhist for you to.
Of course you don't.
To feel this way, because there are many senses of dogma or traditions that actually teach this.
I believe.
And the more you're enveloped in nature, you actually see this to be truth.
Like Taoism and Confucianism, I know goes into that.
No, but look,
or is it? I understand what you're trying to say, like on a universal view. I'm just
yeah, but also when I was a little child, I asked my mom, like I was pointing at the rock and I was asking her, how can that rock be here if it doesn't know that it exists? Like, how can something exist if it's not in some extensional point of view, like to some extent aware of itself? Like the vibration of everything that's going on, like every single object or everything that's that's existing has a vibration, like a sense of spirit, and not acknowledging it was in my point of view is like not acknowledging God's creation.
Yeah, I mean, all I can really say is that you're one really philosophical child. I'd be super surprised if I was your mom. Like, wow, this kid's smart.
I could say the same about Catholicism.
This kid's literally little, and he's already contemplating life and going through an entire thing.
Well, I had this accident. I almost hung myself when I was a child. I was trying to make this sling. This sling. What's it called? Just a sling. And I was able to knit the rope, but I wasn't able to, actually get off the railings I was hanging by. And I had the rope around my neck, and I hung there. I was like maybe 4 years old. I hung there in the air. And the only thing that was going through my mind is like, what am I gonna do now to survive? And what I was thinking is like, the only thing I can do naturally is to extend my thoughts, try to send them to someone who's going to notice it, because I weren't able to scream or anything. And what this did, it actually made my mother go to the window. It made her actually react. She could feel the energy. She told me this in later age as well. So I think
it's honestly a pretty crazy experience.
It is a pretty crazy experience, at least when you're little. But that's how I started asking myself all these different things.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna go soon because I'm getting a bit tired. But I mean, what I want to end off is essentially is that despite whether you believe the Earth is, let's say, round or flat, or it's a geocentric model or a heliocentric model, whatever you believe, I think that there's some sort of force above that's going to save us. And I personally believe that there's a God and that Jesus Christ is the way to eternal heaven, essentially. I think despite our beliefs, we can all, look for that philosophical point of view, be moral and good people. So, I mean, that's essentially all I can really end with. Be a good person. Good things will come. So, it's nice talking to you guys. Thanks. Thanks for the good debate or good converse.
It was nice talking to you.
I'm clocking in.
Thank you too, man.
See you later.
I'm gonna go now and contemplate because my brain hurts. My rationale is failing me. All right, bye. Have a good night.
Enjoy.
Thanks.
Later, Scaffaroni.
Thanks for being respectful, bro.
I'll hop on another time. It was a good.
You guys hear this?
Come back anytime.
All right, bye.
Sorry, guys. It just went there. He was a new member that came in from the lobby.
All
I
right.
didn't mean for that to happen.
Well, it seemed everybody was enjoying the comment. I
God's real, though.
Tail came over. Hey guys, this is fart noise.
Went quiet in here.
Yep.
Seems that way.
Oh.
Fucking Happy Gilmore's an asshole.
I don't know. I think he should be at Gold Plus.
No, everyone will be like, we didn't have a vote.
But we nominated him.
Close enough.
Right.
Hello.
Oh, hold on a second.
What's up, Warplane?
So, how are you today?
What kind of warplane are you?
I'm scrumptious.
What?
Not an Apache helicopter.
I'm a stealth bomb. I'm stealth, man. Can't see me, but I'm there like a predator.
Yo, Flash Smackers playlist. You there?
Wait. So, what happened? Where's the edge?
Hey, how many votes do we need? Is it 11?
Say, where's the edge? Are you looking for the edge?
Yeah.
Well, you want to do it, Jose, or you want me? We got 12.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Just do it.
I live on the edge.
So anyways,
Becky from Australia, welcome to Gold.
I was looking at him today.
Oh, wow.
I am the Razor's
I didn't even get to vote.
Australia.
Me neither. I didn't get to vote either.
We're up to 12.
Oh.
Oh, we're way over then.
We are the edge.
Sorry, I don't know what to...
The whole globe is an edge. Think about that for a second.
A fallacious edge.
We are standing at an edge of knowledge. Staring out into the abyss.
So just
The
answer.
abyss.
Just
A
I
small
honestly
edge
don't
for
know where
man.
the edge is. How's that for an answer? I don't know where the edge is, mate.
Here's the thing.
If I
when
peed
you
off the edge,
it's because you're combining two models to come to that conclusion. So,
No, Mateo, no theory.
yeah, what you're doing is you're thinking of like a heliocentric model, and you're just replacing the spherical Earth with the flat disk.
on Flat Earth Society's model, I could pee. My pee would reach Mars. Yep, if I peed off the edge.
Sorry for.
Depends on how much pressure kidneys can push.
Will, your will your piss reach escape velocity? If it doesn't, it's going to come right back and hit you in the face.
Yeah. It will reach Pluto in 10 years. Take that, Voyager.
Yeah, no shit. Voyager's picking up messages from 16 billion miles away with like an 8-watt antenna.
That still works.
Yeah, that still works.
Because space kind of space space. I lost the word. I'm high. Hey, Indio, yesterday I was looking up Shiva. Shiva means nothingness, and nothingness means another dimension. You ever heard of that? Like, think about CERN.
Oh man, that's funny, man. I don't know why I'm sub to a channel called PBS Space Time, so it's a bunch of like, I hate to use the word science because it's supposed to be science. So like they do episodes on like black holes, dark matter, space, gravity, all that happy stuff. Episode I saw today was called "The Properties of Nothing."
I'm telling you. I was like, are you going to turn nothing into something? And look at what they're doing. Right? It's like, I can't believe they're doing it. They're actually fucking gonna do this. Like,
Yeah, they're trying, man. They're trying to convince you that nothing is something.
Yeah. It's like, fuck.
That's the whole Big Bang in a nutshell, man. Something for nothing.
Yep. Nothing is God. So they're saying God is nothing.
The uncaused cause.
Well, nothing is everything, isn't it?
Could be.
I don't know anything anymore. I don't know nothing.
I swear to God, if this wakes you up.
I didn't do nothing.
I didn't do nothing.
Hello, Red Emerald.
Of Greek
Without the nothing means already, dude.
Being
I want to get banned.
You're unmuted now. Talk.
Hello, do you hear me? Just to check.
Yes, I hear you well. Hello, Red
Hello.
Emerald.
You sound
Hi, I hear you. I'm really interested.
You sound frustrated.
No, yeah, I was because I was listening to all these conversations for like the.
So original.
Did that upset?
Good night, guys. See y'all tomorrow.
Good night, man. Have a good one, man.
Good night.
Good night.
Congratulations, Becky.
Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, congrats, Becky.
Oh yeah.
I'm feeling good.
Yeah, it feels really good. I know the feeling.
Feels so good.
You're golden.
I feel gold.
Yep.
You gonna talk, Red Emerald, or are you done now?
Well, don't you have nothing to say?
He has everything to say.
We'll say nothing.
Okay. I have no power.
Do you even know what's going on the globe?
His silence says everything.
Silence is golden. Today, I'd like to talk about nothing. It's already started, man.
And nothingness.
Nothingness. It's never done it. I mean, doesn't nothing cover it?
The word of the day is no thing or nothing.
Ooh, no thing. That's clever.
No thing.
I'm not saying it's nothing, but I think it's nothing.
It's like Seinfeld. That was a show about nothing.
Nothing is the vacuum of space. Like, think about it.
So, Mindy, you were on Goldbusters today, right? You're not on it, but in the chat.
Yeah, I was watching the whole thing.
Did you see what happened when, like, I heard somebody saying that when they started doing their conspiracy cats, Baldy Cats, whatever his name is, segment, 300 people left the chat.
Yeah, I heard that. I saw it actually.
Really? They didn't want to be a part of his hypothetical concrete proof?
It was like 300 to 400 actually.
Leonidas has left the building.
That's just weird. I think that's weird. That's like some weird shit.
I think you owe me and Mitty a high five because we saved you from getting banned by Bob's wife.
Why was she gonna ban?
Dude, I don't know if you know. It happened so fast. Ace reversed it, but dude, she banned you because your message it wasn't like addressing to anybody, and it sounded like you were talking to the flat earthers. You're like these idiots don't even know how to do math, or I forgot what it said. And when I read it, I'm like, dude, he should have put like Baldy Cats because it did sound like you were adjusting it to like the audience or the people.
I did. I adjusted to Baldy Cats, and then like the next one, I just like didn't ping them again. I just spoke.
Yeah, well, the next one I saw it delete right away, and I was like, "Free Indio," and so is Mitty.
Yeah, he saw that. He thanked me, so I think it was.
My nigga Indio, man. Shit.
Yeah, you were banned for like a minute. I don't think you even realized it because it was so fast.
Yeah, the chat goes by so fast on there. Like, what the hell, dude? Like, I was trying to make fun of him. Like, dude, it's like you're like. He's sitting there doing that thing where, like, you know, V is for volume. Like, dude, what's your volume for the universe, man? Volume equals infinity.
Right.
So you do that. Now get pressure with an infinite volume, you retard. I mean, it's so stupid.
It's infinite volume. That's why.
So, like, the infinite volume, right? So you got the kinetic, the gas supposed to be pressing on the outside of the container. Well, it's never going to reach the outside of the container. Theoretically, there's an outside somewhere. It's going to take an infinite amount of time to hit it. See, that's where their math always breaks down, their bullshit math. It always breaks down because like it always reduces to like an absurd conclusion.
I don't know if you guys heard Ido Landucci talking about the superfluid helium from Rosano. I have that paper. He sent me that paper, dude, where he wrote a paper and he actually sent it to a bunch of professors and they peer reviewed it and they said it was really interesting.
Oh, about the superfluid helium? Yeah.
Yeah. It was funny. Rosano's so paranoid because like he did that paper when he showed it to me. Like 3 days later, Bob did a video which he screened about the sun being fluid from I think it was Sky Scholar, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, see, these motherfuckers always take my credit and don't give me credit. I'm like, dude, that's not even Bob. That's like Sky Scholar.
Dude, he's paranoid. He probably thinks they're watching him and shit.
No, he does. He sent me a screenshot of the CIA and FBI like scanning his emails or some shit. I don't know how the fuck he got that, but he showed it to me.
Oh, that's crazy, man.
That's why he left Discord, dude. He's like, Discord's compromised.
He hacked the CIA hacking while they were hacking him? Like he saw them hacking him?
It's a good thing Riggs, me, and
we're live
Sheeple got
streaming
the
right now, by the
box.
way, in case anybody cares.
Okay. Who do I ask?
Battlemon.
Wait, why him?
Because he unmuted me.
Wait, you're still live streaming? I didn't see that.
Yeah. I'm live streaming with a sock account.
Oh, okay. Are you gonna post the link?
Oh, it's the same link. It's my YouTube, but there's a sock account in this voice chat because I can't do both at the same time.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
At least there's probably a way. I just don't know how to do it yet. I'm not that familiar with OBS.
Yeah, so I wanted to say that dude, conspiracy. He's like not a debate, just a chat. But like, I know what he does, man. I know his whole goal is to make flat earthers look dumb. So he'll take whatever I say, and I don't know, man. I don't think I should do it.
Twist it. No, I mean, look, he's gonna have like these guys. Like they get scripted up. You know what I mean? Like Red's Rhetoric and Baldy Cats, they have like a script that they're gonna run on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm thinking if I come in with my script and attack it from a psychological standpoint, avoid any of the science because we know that he's just gonna we know what what they're gonna do with science. But maybe if I approach it from a different angle, I might be able to get him to say some stuff that would be kind of interesting to hear for like for flat earthers and ballers. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that's completely right because I mean I'm a new member of the flat Earth community recently, and I feel like over these past week I've just learned so much about it and like the different point of views and everything.
Yeah, I mean when you're learning, it's very important to learn both sides of the argument.
Yeah, you see, I'm in high school right now, and my physics teacher, he always gets mad at me because I like try to debate him about the Earth being flat, and like I try to politely tell him my reasons and all that stuff, but I just got shut down like it's a no-no in my school about that.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from because getting into this information, you want to talk about it with like smart people, and I'm sure you think he's smart and good at physics, but like at the same time I was a teacher before and I know that you have to stick to the script and that you're running on a tight schedule where you actually don't even have enough hours in a day to get what they expect you to get done. So all that flat earth stuff, like I'm sure he ain't got time for that. So
yeah, exactly. Wait, you were a teacher, you're saying?
Yeah, I taught younger kids. I didn't teach high school. I definitely didn't teach them physics. But I was, I know I get what it's like. No matter whether you're teaching preschool or high school or whatever, there's a curriculum that you have to stand by. There's standards. It's all linked to like government stuff. There's Common Core standards, this standard, that's it.
Exactly, yeah.
That's considered censorship, right?
Pretty much. I mean,
well, the difference
I didn't get to teach what I wanted.
School. That's the difference. They're really strict down here.
Yeah, you can't be teaching no flat, or like if you're a teacher and you can't be like teaching that, like you're getting in trouble. I think.
Especially at my school,
you're not really talking about. You're like you don't have to talk about flat Earth. All you're doing is talking about geometry, right, and science and physics. You're not really talking about flat Earth, right? I mean, it's only when they say, "Oh, are you?" I was like, "No, I'm just trying to understand the globe that I live on." You know what I mean? It says it's supposed to be this big. Exactly. It's supposed to have this curve. I'm not supposed to see these things because it's supposed to be, over the other side of the hump. But like if you talk about it that way, they have to address it because they're talking about science. You're talking about geometry and math.
Right.
You're not
I see what you're
about conspiracies.
Just approach it from a critical angle, not critical, but encourage critical thinking. I got it.
Yeah.
You can get your classmates also involved or get them thinking about it, excited about it. Then you have numbers. You know what I mean? Now the teacher has to answer and has to explain and then do something. You know what I mean? Because it is math and it is physics we're doing, not talking about.
Now, since I'm just learning about these new subjects, one question that like maybe I thought maybe you guys would know the answer to is, where is the edge? Can you go to the edge of the Earth by any chance? Like, I'm still reading about the flat Earth and like learning and absorbing the information, but so is there an edge like within this community? Do you guys believe in an edge of any sort of the Earth?
No, our cosmology is a geocentric stationary plane. It's not even in space. We don't believe in space as in a vacuum. Also, the Earth is probably, in my opinion, this is my opinion, not everyone shares the same opinions because I don't think nobody can know how far the Earth stretches out. But in my opinion, it's finite. I think it's enclosed. The reason I think this is in order to have a gas pressure, we need to have a container, so I know there's a container somewhere.
And just to ask, what do you guys say about the moon landing? Like the pictures that are from NASA, do you guys think that's real, fake? Like, what's your input on that?
Can I add to the edge thing real quick?
Yeah, of course.
Asking about the edge is like me asking you about space. Have you been to space? No. Can you prove space exists? Well, I got
the edge of space.
Yeah, the edge is space. The edge, we're out traveling horizontally all around you, and up is the edge, is where the edge is, and the ground is the edge. That's an edge. You know what I mean? That's an end, I guess, if you want to call it that. So when you think about it that way, the axis is restricted, going to space and going south or out. Who can answer the question? Same thing. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, just want to add that.
Exactly.
Yeah. About the moon landing, I would like to. What's your opinion about the moon landing?
My personal opinion is, as of right now, I'm kind of conflicted. By one part, I want to believe that the moon landing is real. Just what society's been teaching me this entire time. It's real. But there's other some evidence. That I still have some skepticism as like if it even happened or not. So I'm kind of in the middle right now.
Well, dude, you have to believe that the moon's made out of petrified wood to believe them.
So you're saying that the moon landing is fake?
Listen, they went to the moon supposedly, and they brought back rocks, and they were petrified wood. So either the moon is made out of petrified wood, or they're lying. So you can pick one.
Right. One of your proofs. What we're saying is the proofs don't pan out.
You see, but the rational conversation we're having right now, if I were to say that in my military school, I get a smackdown. Like I said that.
I went to academy. Yeah, you would.
No, I have. Like I said that once to my teacher, I had to run laps.
You'd also get extra duty and extra PT.
Mm-hmm. It would be better if you talked to your classmates. You talk to your classmates about it.
I get beat down real hard when I misbehave there, and I'm just tired of the whole military school and all that stuff. I want to be able to express myself.
Well, listen, let me tell you the backstory. Neil Armstrong and the ambassador of the United States gave the ambassador of Holland a moon rock from the moon, and they put it in their museum. Well, about 20 years later, they decided to test it, and they found out it was petrified wood. So, you tell me, is it fake? What's fake, dude? This is like a news story that was all over the world that these quote-unquote moon rocks are fake.
Now that you tell me that, I'm starting to think that it is more fake.
That's just one single piece of evidence, but this is directly an official act of the United States government. So...
Ask her about the Apollo 11. Do that's real.
Now, here's
the video clips from it. I want to know that.
Now, here's another question. What do you guys think about Apollo 11?
Hey, Red Emerald, do you know where Voice Text for Everyone is? The channel?
I'm sorry.
Discord? It's called Voice Text for Everyone. Click on that channel. I dropped a gift for you of the Apollo 17 taking off from the moon. And just
thank you. I appreciate it. I'll take a look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a little GIF. It's like a little quick GIF of the, like a little 10-second GIF. Take a look at that and tell me, does that look like legit to you? You have to scroll up a little bit.
Why would you call it
technical
Apollo?
difficulty? I went out.
Why call it Apollo?
Yeah, I see that.
Isn't Apollo the sun god?
No, Apollo 11. It's like a ship.
Apollo is the sun god.
Apollo was the god of light and illusion.
Yeah. And here's my question to you guys, because like in my own personal life, when I talk about the flat earth with my family, my school, I always get shut down. Like, what does your family and you guys is like your community think about what you guys believe?
Well, for me, luckily, I've got to like my family is very like a curious type of family, I guess, except for my father. He's more of like I just go to work and I try to make the money and just do my job like an American, I guess. But my mom, my sisters, and my brother, I showed them all my information. They're like, "Dude, it's flat." Like they're on board, you know.
Apollo was the god of more things than just the sun: music, truth, prophecy, healing, sun, light, play, poetry.
But they're always mad when I tell them crap like that.
Well, my advice to you is don't speak to people that triggers, especially with their family, because you don't want to put a gap between it. Because, dude, this topic will freaking mess up your family, dude. I swear to God. I have a cousin that, like, he works for for Northrop now. And he's actually trying to go into NASA. And me and him used to have the closest relationship. And once I became a flat earther, he like defriended me from Facebook. And he told me, he's like, "Hey, I love you, but I can't like be associated with you because I know you're a flat earther, and I don't want them to think that like I'm a flat earther and I'm trying to get this NASA job." So like it's like it does mess things up a little bit for me, a little bit.
Well, yeah, he's going for a NASA job, so yeah, kind of dissociate.
Creating NASA.
But I don't think he would have done that if he wasn't going for a NASA job, right?
Yeah.
Look, the fact is, we all experience the Earth being one thing, and that is a flat, stationary plane, and that's how everyone in human history has experienced it. Or you can believe that there's like 500 people with special powers that went into space, and they had a different experience than the other, 400 trillion people that have ever lived.
Special powers. What kind of powers?
Yeah.
To infinity and beyond.
They must all be Irish because they can spin a yarn.
Right. You need more?
I think the best angle to look at this is ignore the information you can't test for yourself. This includes NASA, all the 70 other space agencies there are supposedly. Ignore that because all that isn't like scientific evidence that one can actually take and check to see if they actually went or not, So my advice is like approach this in a more natural, scientific way. And like that's why we're here, because we're approaching this like with like on Earth. We're doing tests on Earth, we're not like trusting the all these space agencies. Yeah, like we're testing for curvature with lasers, long distance photography, infrared. There's a lot of little experiments that are being done that like aren't showing a curved surface of the convexity that we expect. The rate of curvature should be 8 inches per mile square. That's an approximation. So in other words, in 10 miles, that's like 66.6 feet of drop. In 100 miles, that's about 6,667. And when we actually try to test this globe curvature model, we're getting these null results that aren't conforming to this curvature rate that we should be getting.
Can you what was those numbers again? The rate of drop that you just said, 6.67 something like that.
Yeah, it was for 10 miles. It's 66.6 feet, and for 100 miles, it's 6,667. A lot of sixes in there, yeah.
Interesting.
Mitty, you still in here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you're gonna debate one of those guys, listen, you know how it's gonna go, right? It's gonna go one of two ways with them. They have the same thing. Either they're gonna sit there and parrot Wikipedia, literally parrot everything Wikipedia says.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're going to talk about freaking models and mathematics and this math proves this reality. You know, that stuff is kind of easy to defeat with these guys because they're not actually as well educated as they think they are. Because if they come up with some model, all you have to do is like, dude, just okay. So where's the experiment that validates that model? And all these models are like, they're approximate, right? So even like our models of light, even our models of thermodynamics, like we have a model, but that's only like a starting point. You know, all models have to be validated by experiment. And if you just stick to that one thing, okay, they make some claim, say about gas pressure. Okay, and you go, okay, well, show me that experiment that validates your theory of what gas pressure does. And they can't, because if they could do it, they already would have done it.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
dude, it's the same thing. Like, what's your experiment to prove that you can have gas pressure inside of a vacuum without a container? I mean, seriously, show me that. Don't talk about it. Show me.
Yeah, he said it himself. Nathan quotes him when he says you need a container. So
they bust out the thought experiments.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I don't know, man. I don't want to debate them. I feel like I don't understand. Like, you could debate them. Like, you would crush them.
Well, I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. I'm just saying if it ever comes down to it, they're all the same. They all take the same thing. They just repeat what it says on Wikipedia, and they don't know, like, what is underneath it, right? They just know, like, the story. But to go underneath it, like, where'd that story come from? They don't know any of that shit. And all you have to do is ask them for, like, what's the basis of any of it? Like, what is the experimental? They want to talk, this is science, right? So, like, what is the experimental basis of your so-called science? They don't have any.
Yeah, like the distance to the sun. Like that, they use the Eratosthenes, which, by the way, you know, they don't realize that it works on both models, on flat or round. But then at the same, or, you know, globe. And at the same time, they don't even realize that the whole thing assumes the distance and size to the sun. So that makes the whole thing, like, invalid anyway.
Yeah, the whole position of the sun, like where that is.
True.
Like, is it the same for every, like, if I have a person in France and then there's a person in, you know, Morocco, and they look at the sun, are they looking at the same thing? We don't know that. We pretty much know that it doesn't, like, their lines of sight don't intersect, so they're kind of not looking at the same thing, but they are.
I bet you won't push my foot.
What's going on here?
Chris, look.
Hey, can you just mute your mic, please?
I muted him.
Oh,
I had enough of that.
I don't know what was going on. Yeah, that's why I don't even want to debate with them at all, because I get, like, they're not gonna. They're going off of that science, like they trust it. That's really what it comes down to. They trust their science and their math. So I can't.
How do you get into these debates?
They trust other people's conclusions. That's the messed up part. Not the conclusions that they drew from the evidence. They trust the conclusions somebody they don't even freaking know drew from the evidence.
Yeah, I'm not like I know that someday I'll be able to debate them, but I mean I could, but I don't want to. I want to really crush them. I want to come, you know, Nathan Thompson, the way he crushed Fight the Flat Earth. Like, I want to be on that level before I actually debate these people.
Well, I mean, what do you have to game anyway?
Yeah,
what are we going to gain? I mean, who's going to listen to them? A bunch of diehard Globies that are just looking for a train wreck.
Right, that's true. Even if I do crush them, like, now, they're still going to find some way to make me look dumb, and I don't need the attention. I don't care about that.
Well, you're not going to change their mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of my point. So I don't know. If I did it, it would be just to get attention for my channel, because then hopefully people would listen to my music and then get flat smacked. But I don't really care about that, because It'd be
Dude,
mostly
flashback
ballers.
people in your music, man. That's a more effective way than debating somebody.
Yeah, that's what I that's what I kind of like doing, man. I kind of go just hide behind my music, and it says it all right there. It's self-explanatory. I don't need to.
Level 22 reached. MIDI HC, welcome to Gold Plus.
Oh shoot, man! Thank you.
Congratulations. Now you can ban people.
Yeah,
stop asking people to mute themselves and mute them.
Hey,
Oh,
can
cool.
you?
Oh, by the way, he wants to get. Well, I'll unmute him now because he's PMing.
Hey, Mitty, real quick, go into the lobby and type exclamation commands.
Okay. Hold on, let me just unmute this guy. He was asking me. How do I do that? Server, got him. Okay. Commands.
My bad, sorry, I was eating dinner. My friend was talking.
That's all good. All right, commands. Oh, now I got a message from the SJW.
All right.
SJW bot, that's hilarious. I gotta change that name, man. That's just wrong. We gotta get rid of that fucking name.
I like it. Hear me right now?
We got a personal SJW, bro.
What's up, gang?
With the hairdo to match.
Wait, guys, listen to this. Do you want to hear something crazy about the flag?
Jared.
No, I did. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right.
Say something.
Yo, really, you guys are mobile, though. If you want me to change it, I'll change it.
On my way. In my way. In my way. Dude,
hey,
you're not funny, bro.
The shit.
In the jungle, the quiet jungle.
Ba ba ba. I just farted. Ba ba ba.
Is that all you wanted unmuted for, guys?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Guess what?
You guys are flat.
Muted. The lion sleeps tonight. Hey, hey, hey.
Yo, there's
Oik,
actually.
oik.
There's actually a denomination of flat earthers who believe the earth is shaped like
a denomination.
A
denomination.
Yeah, there is a denomination of flat earthers who think the
And
earth
the
is a
song
Mobius
goes
strip.
on.
Bro, the earth's a Mobius strip, bro.
In the server, the FE server, the lines tonight.
I knew that guy was fake when he said he was flat earther. I was like, dude,
Yeah,
you don't even know if the earth is a disc floating in space yet. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Someday when I prove the Mobius strip.
I love it. Sorry, guys.
Where'd you get the Mobius strip thing from?
You'll see, bro.
Is that the new meme kids are?
It's the most complicated geometry he could think of.
No. Not I. But God, bro. It's the most complex thing God can think of, bro.
Are you like a triggered atheist right now?
It's the troll shape. It's the shape of a troll.
Aw. That's a good thing to say about my body image.
I was talking about the Mobius strip.
No, don't respect the strip, bro.
Oh man. I'll wipe my ass with Mobius strip. Next.
Troll strip.
Charmin saw. I didn't ban that. He ran. So, any of these people new users or not new users? Let's unmute some people, see what they have to say. Fucking Blad. What's up, Blad? You still hanging out at that server?
What's up?
You've been quiet lately, Blad. What's up?
So, how are the moon landings fake?
I just am quiet.
How are they not?
Someone please explain to this little one how the moon landings are fake, because I have no idea how to explain it.
Hold on. How old are you first, may I ask?
13.
Perfect. Okay, so the moon landings, in my opinion, are fake. I could show you a documentary showing how like they cropped pictures, changed like how like the Apollo 11 photos had like these little crosshairs that were like integrated to the camera, and they're like there's no way you could like overlap one over anything because Well, actually, on some of the photos, the little crosshairs were like there's images over them, which is impossible. So that shows that they doctored images. Not only that, I don't even think like the medium of space has ever been proven. Like, I think this might be a little bit too complicated, maybe. But there's this law called the second law of thermodynamics, which, in my opinion, if that law has never been broken and to have a globe Earth, you'd have to break that law.
It's actually pretty easy to understand. Like when you tea or coffee, it always goes cold. It will never. If you have a cold cup of tea, it's never going to get hot. And the same applies to gas.
Another way you could look at it too is high pressure will always flow to low pressure. So if you think about it, like how do we have this gas pressure on Earth without a container? Like just the only way humans on Earth can ever replicate gas pressure is to have a container. Like you can fill up tank, you can pump air in your tire. You need that.
Right. When you ride your bike, it never fills up with the air always like diminishes from riding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, makes sense. All right.
Never the other way around.
Listen, let me ask you just a question, a simple question. Now, do you think that you could land a craft on the moon if you never tested it before?
Absolutely not.
So that's what they did. They never tested the lunar lander. It was never tested, not even one time. They just stuck it on top of a rocket, flew to the moon, and just landed it. And it just happened to work the first time, which is a preposterous story. But they never actually tested that device.
Also, another thing you can look into is the only time they ever tested a man with a spacesuit inside a vacuum, he almost died. Like he started like his saliva started like boiling in his mouth. And after that, I've never heard of any other test with a human inside of a vacuum chamber with an astronaut suit. But, that's the only test I can find online. And according to them, like they managed to go into the moon, It's like, you guys couldn't even get the suit to work on Earth. How did you guys get it to work on the moon, Like, where's these, these videos and these tests of, these astronaut suits working on vacuums on Earth? There's none.
All right.
Ever looked at any of the YouTube videos about the moon landing that might be fake?
Yeah, I have.
Have you seen a funny thing on the way to the moon?
No.
When you get a chance on YouTube, or maybe you should. Are you on a desktop right now or on a phone?
Desktop.
Okay, open up a tab on YouTube and type a funny thing on the way to the moon. And watch that video. It's like 40 minutes long. Watch it sometime. Just make sure you have it on the tab open real quick. It shows how like they I guess there was a Apollo 11 like reel that I don't know how this guy got a hold of it, but it pretty much shows them faking Earth at a distance with a round window in low Earth orbit.
Oof. All right.
I read something I just got sent from someone that wants to ask a question. A Greek astronomer by the name of
Eratosthenes.
Thank you. Clearly showed Earth was round just over 2,000 years ago. He realized that rays of sunlight are hitting Earth at the same degree, but because Earth has a curvature, the length of shadows at different locations across the Earth aren't the same. SpaceX gave me this. Why isn't this real? Can anyone answer that for us?
Yeah, is he in the voice? Or is he in the lobby?
No, listening in now. Let me just double check. Where am I? Yep, he's listening, or she.
Okay, so Aristophanes, he had to make a couple of assumptions. For one, he had to assume that the light that was coming in hitting the Earth was parallel, which puts the sun at an infinite distance, where the light would be, hitting the Earth parallel. and his second assumption was a curved Earth. You know, that's the extrapolation he got. So by assuming the sun's distance, he got parallel light, which would work on a globe Earth. But the problem is, no one to this day has scientific evidence for the distance of the sun. No one does. I know that everyone tells you it's 93 million miles away, but that's even built upon assumptions of using the transit of Venus and assuming that Venus is the same size as Earth and building a baseline from there to the sun. But to this day, there's no actual scientific evidence for the distance of the sun. So if we were to change those assumptions to like a local sun with divergent rays on a flat plane, you can measure the same angles out. It's as simple as like getting a light source in your house and like, you know, you could stand right under it, you won't have a shadow, but as soon as you walk away, you have a shadow. You know, like, and that's literally like, you can replicate this in your house, like just so you can see how on a flat surface, you can get divergent shadows just because the light source is close to you.
Thank you for answering that question.
You're welcome.
We know where the edge of the Earth is. That's another question. Can only assume, I think, is the answer to that question.
Well, it's funny because Neil deGrasse Tyson actually that it would work on a flat Earth with a close and local sun, which is pretty much what most of us think the sun is, as far as we can tell. And furthermore, if it was billions of light years away or millions, whatever they say, however far they say it is, I don't think it would be visible the way that we see it with our eye. So
I'll tell you this, the biggest coincidence in the world is, think about this. Supposedly, this is the mainstream version. We come from a big bang, you know, everything exploded from a singularity, etc. So just think about this. What are the chances that the sun is 400 times further away from us and the moon is like obviously closer, but they appear the same size? What are the chances of that happening? That's the craziest one, I think. Like if you really think about it, like the angular size of the moon and sun appear to be the same size, but they tell us that the sun is 400 times further away and 400 times bigger.
Yeah, that's a good one, Jose. Especially because they tell us the Big Bang Theory created all this at just as it's a big coincidence that all this came out of nothing. And then not only is this just a coincidence that something came out of nothing, but not only that something has a sun and moon that are exactly the same size, and yet they're, you know, supposedly different distances and sizes. It's a big coincidence.
Another coincidence, I think, is how they claim that the moon pulls tides. So that means that the gravity of the moon is affecting the Earth, but I don't see how like the Earth's bigger gravity isn't affecting the moon. That's another one that like bothers me. Like you're having gravity in one direction, not like it should be like the Earth is bigger, it should have more pull towards the moon, you know? And it's fairly unlikely that I think that it's been so long that we have the same face and it never changes whatsoever, not even a degree. Like it's always the same face. Yeah, they claim it's tightly locked.
Yeah, that's another thing. A lot of people that haven't looked into this stuff, globe or flat, they don't even realize that. Because I got into a little debate, or not a debate, but kind of an argument with a friend. We didn't even get into the real debate, and he didn't even know that about the geosynchronous orbit. I was trying to explain his model and debate my model. It gets a little messy when you're doing that, especially with alcohol involved.
I was kind of wondering about like.
Sorry, I didn't mean
you were talking about the Big Bang Theory. Is there any way that could tie into like the theory of our world being a simulation?
To be honest, I'm not that familiar with the simulation. I kind of just turned it down because I just don't. To me, I feel like a simulation just means like it could be anything. So it's almost gonna be like the new deception in my opinion. But I don't really. I mean, if you agree that the simulation is created by someone, I mean, I guess that's the only common ground I could give you a simulation. But I don't really see how it could be a simulation.
I mean, there's definitely an intelligent design to the Earth, to, you know, us, like the animals and nature and the way we all like work together. So there's definitely, I think, an intelligent design. So to think whether it's a simulation or not, it feels real. So it's just time consuming to think about that, because even if you could, I don't think you could really prove it.
Yeah, if you're interested into looking into like I don't know, I would say the most interesting thing about, like, for me, like in life and nature, is the golden ratio and the Fibonacci sequence. How you can find it in everything, even like in us. Like you can literally measure from your fingertips upwards to your whole body, and it's like a mathematical Fibonacci sequence. To me, that shows like intelligent design, like something designed us. Everything has it, you know.
But I think you're on the right path, man, because you're only bringing stuff like sim theory, and that's what like stuff that adults are talking about now. So I think that's cool that you're thinking, asking questions. But yeah, you should definitely look into the golden ratio. And I think the question is, like, if this is designed, whether it's a simulation or not, who designed it and where did it come from? And it leads to some bigger questions.
All right.
Yeah, that's my advice to you too, man. Just ask questions, man. Don't get stuck with a consensus science that just tells you things are what they are because they all agree on it. Like, ask questions, be skeptical. Don't trust everything 100% unless you can verify it. And if it's something you can't verify, like, you just have to put your faith in it, then I guess that's where some people draw the line. Like, I choose to not believe in certain things like that. And I'm very biased. Like, there's some things that I will believe on faith. There's some things that I know I can't, because it just doesn't feel right, So I go on feelings on some things, but the things I can actually test and look at for myself, I feel 100% on those. But there's a lot of things that we can't know. And to me, one of those things is the distance of the sun. I'm comfortable with saying I don't know the distance, and I don't think we'll ever know. But yeah, man, for your age, dude, you're ahead of the curve.
Right.
Yeah, man, I agree. Do you have any other like particular questions about Earth, the moon landing?
My only question about the moon landing was like how they could have done like the lighting of everything, like for the dust. That's the only thing I'm really like thought about.
Stanley Kubrick, man. Just watch that video I showed you. It shows a lot of information. It shows that they had like multiple light sources, because a lot of the lights, of the shadows on the moon. Now think about this: if it was a globe with the sun that's 93 million miles away, and they actually went to the moon and landed there, the light would have to be coming in parallel, meaning all shadows of like people or anything that's standing up is going to run parallel. They won't converge. But they converged really quickly, which shows that they were using multiple light sources to like light up the moon. That's a big one right there.
Yeah, I was looking into that, and I found like there's spots where if you pause it, you can see like reflections of wires above their suits.
Oh yeah, that's for
Just
sure.
like reflections of like stage lights and things like that in their helmets.
On the helmets, yep. Here's an interesting
Really
thing.
bad.
If you watch the moon landings at 2 times speed, it looks like they're just on normal Earth. So, in my opinion, like they filmed it and they just like slowed it down, so it looks like they're like in low gravity. But if you speed it up, like on the YouTube video, you could speed up 2 times speed. It looks like they're on Earth. Like, like that's something they could have done. Like slowed down the film.
Yeah, I can give you some if you want to know a reflection that you see on top. We have a friend that he's like a professional video editor, Hori Sheet show, and he basically said that that's what happens when you use a green screen, and sometimes the light catches the reflection of the wire that they're hanging on, and so that's basically evidence that they're using a green screen and harnesses, like just in that one little flash.
Wait, but how? Because if you look into it, green screens technically weren't around back then.
Well, do you know when the green screen was invented? I don't, but I'm just saying the technology that gets released to the public, the government has access to a lot of these things before us. And if they're trying to fake us, do they want to give us the tool they're using to fake it? Now they have tools. They have CGI. The technology is getting pretty good, but I don't think they're there yet. You can still tell. It still looks kind of like a video game.
if something large comes out, the government's bound to have it before us.
Right, exactly. So green screen technology is not that common. You know, they've been using this stuff, and you can see evidence in movies from I don't know how long ago, but longer than you probably think, where you can see this technology being used. And like I said, my friend's a professional video editor. He's on this server too, and he has a YouTube channel where he basically exposes this stuff to like all the, you know, he does like live streams and stuff. And basically, yeah, he works in that field. He knows what it looks like when, you know, that happens. So he's a really, you know, I'm just giving you that as a professional testimony from him.
All right.
Well, let me tell you this that you might not know. 1961 was when the first VR headset was invented. So that's quite a long time ago. It's pre-Apollo.
Yeah,
JPL
and
started
3
their
months.
computer lab in 1977. 73, sorry. So this stuff has been around for a while. We just didn't have access to it. It wasn't a
Yeah, and-
consumer-grade product.
And 3 months before the moon landing, Stanley Kubrick, his film Space Odyssey, 2001, won won an Oscar for best special effects, best picture. Same technology or same stuff you see on the moon landing, because that's who did the moon landing.
It's like, I'm probably not going to be liked for this, but I would call myself I would say I think the Earth is a sphere. Well, really, I don't know what I believe, but I just love to hear the opinions of others and try to learn from what they're saying.
Yeah, it's cool, man. That's how everyone starts here, man. We were all globe earthers once. It's not like we were born flat earthers. At least, not all of us here. There's a couple that were. Because we have a air pilot. Her name is Marlena. She's from Canada, and like she was always raised to be a flat earther because she's native there, and that's what they believe. You know, the ancients all believed in a flat earth cosmology, where like most of them had a cosmology where like the earth is obviously stationary and there's some type of firmament or dome or container to it. So that's how she was brought up, and she always thought the globe was weird. So there are some people out there actually that were born flat earthers, but most of us here, no, we were all big space fans. You know, I was big into the alien stuff and Roswell, you know, ancient aliens, the whole 9 yards, Phil Schneider, you know, you name it. I was into all that.
You merely adopted the globe. I was born in it. No, Batman. Bane.
I was born a flat earther, but then they convinced me I was a while, but now I'm a flat earther. Once you learn the magic trick, you can't go back.
In the darkness.
You can.
I was formed in nothingness.
Sorry, that wasn't.
Kids know it's flat. You show them a globe, they laugh at you. They'll laugh at it. I think posted a video of a teacher showing these kids the globe, and like they were laughing. You know, I didn't. And when I taught little kids, I didn't teach them that because I knew that that's way beyond their scope of, you know, they can't get that. But what I did teach them was, you know, I tried to teach them about their neighborhood, their local stuff, because I know that they can even still barely comprehend that at such a young age.
Yeah, they need something they can connect to.
So luckily, I didn't have to teach the globe when I was a teacher. Like little kids.
Discord.
I have a good example. There was a little kid at NASA space launch, and he was telling the dad, the rocket's gonna crash. It's going down. And Dad's like, no, it's reaching escape velocity, son.
Hey, is Ron in here?
Ron's not here, Flat Earth Fucker. Good to see you, by the way, man.
Oh yeah, man. Thanks. Who's just talking?
El Baba Yaga, Jose Mesa. You probably see me on your YouTube. I go to your YouTube a lot.
Yeah, bro. We're friends on Facebook too. I was gonna PM you.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Thanks a lot because of you, I got to see the whole concert at the conference.
Oh yeah, you were watching that. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm just about to start my live stream. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Ron guys told me to come in here and let everybody know last time, but I guess nobody's around. Riggs, all those guys aren't around.
Oh shit. Let me DM them all. Maybe get a hold of some of them.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll see you over there. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. You guys seem to be having a good conversation.
Pleased to meet you. I've heard about you.
About me?
It's about you.
Anything bad?
All good, actually. So I'm glad to make your acquaintance.
Awesome. Right on, Becky. I'm going to figure out how to live stream off Discord one day. Real Skeptic's going to show me.
We're actually live streaming right now. Say hi. You're live.
I know. You guys are chatting away. What did Warplane say here? Fokker merges with Wolfie to make a Nazi plane. Is that a different Fokker?
Probably. I haven't heard of that one.
Have you met the Fokker?
There's a comment there.
Yeah,
Yes.
dude. I was gonna ban you yesterday because there's this troll that his name's Big Fucker, and he comes here like with the name always Fucker or something. And I'm like, oh, this motherfucker came in with the Flat Earth Fucker name today. I'm like, and he has gold? Hell, motherfucking no. And I was about to ban you, dude, and then I found that it was you.
Yeah, I know. I was that was kind of funny. We started laughing. Anyways.
That's called devotion.
He's definitely an Agent Smith, man. Oh, hey, Geo Love's in the house here. GMCDX. You're over there, and he's in my chat and in Discord. Cool. Nice.
But
You're
heard
gonna live
about
stream right now? What?
What's that?
You're gonna live stream right now?
Yeah, I am live. They're listening to me talk to you guys on on Discord.
Oh, that's awesome.
What do we got in here? All flat earthers, or is there a bunch of ballers in here?
I think it's a bit of a mixed bag at the moment.
It's a mixed bag in here.
Yeah, he's pretty open-minded. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Flat smack him, man.
Right. You got any more questions, bro?
Nope, not right now.
Youngie.
Well, I'll give you some advice, man. A good way to start to look into flat Earth is to know the circumference of the globe, which is 24,901 miles circumference with a radius of 3,959. And from that, you can derive the curvature per mile. This is a test that most people could do with like cameras, lasers, etc. You can calculate how much curvature or obstruction there should be between 2 points. So what you do is like you can look at a building that's maybe like a couple miles away, and you should be able to calculate your distance like through Google Maps or Google Earth, the distance of the observer to the building itself. You draw a tangent line, and then you calculate the elevations. And usually the curve formula is an approximation. It's 8 inches per mile squared. So for every mile you square the 8 inches, the distance itself. And that's how you can actually measure to see if what you're observing matches to the curvature of the Earth that it's supposed to. You can look up the curve calculator yourself. Like, it saves you a lot of trouble just to type on Google Earth curve calculator, and it'll give you 2 options. It'll give you the option to put observer height. That means that's where the height where your camera is like observing the picture, or your eyes. And on the bottom, it's the distance, and it calculates it for you and tells you how much obstruction there should be between those 2 points.
All right. I think I understood that.
What are you doing, Franco? It's Franco being naughty.
Earlier,
Naughty
I saw
Franco.
Nico person.
What?
That's called devotion to stupidity. How do you take that much time to annoy people every day? Come on. I'm gonna die.
Tagged that little turd in the lobby. On. I always assume it's a male. Sorry about that. It could have been a little naughty chick.
Children are really hard subject though. Pineapple pizza.
Yeah, who did I meet him? I think someone did it faster than me.
I believe so. Children are a really hard topic though. It's like, well, it's not that that's what they have to do to believe in the globe. It's that mostly you're taught it from a young age by your parents, and you're susceptible to other people's thoughts more when you're a child. So it's easier to have an opinion pushed on you.
Right, but here's the funny thing: when you're really, really young, like 4 or 5, you don't have abstract thinking skills fully developed, and the globe is very abstract. So in order to even comprehend the possibility of whether we're on a globe or not, you have to have abstract like reasoning skills, because it's all theoretical anyway. Yeah. They think of it. They want to be an astronaut from such a young age. It's so weird. That's so weird.
I think it's just like a model that's really, really easy to understand, you know? Like, it sounds ridiculous, but like, mass attracts mass is so simple and it explains so much stuff, which is why, like, because there's tons of people who can't be bothered to do the research, you know? And like the round earth model explains everything so perfectly, but it's also so wrong, you know?
Right. The problem with mass attracts mass, I mean, I guess orbiting, but the problem with that is
I mean, like, it seems perfect, you know?
Well, the problem with mass attracting
I mean, at
mass,
least how they describe it.
it hasn't been proven with like a viable experiment. That's the problem, really.
It comes from the idea that the lesser should serve the greater.
Oh.
Yeah, that's deep. But like, yeah, why would it cause the planets to orbit rather than just attract into each other? Like, I don't even get that part of it.
I understand that, but there's just other problems with it as well. Like, I'm pretty sure that's due to the centrifugal acceleration. Like, it is falling towards the larger body, but it's also moving away as well. because it's all the inertial acceleration is forcing it to constantly move away at the same rate that it's moving in. But there are also that makes sense. Lots of it makes sense, but
Okay,
there's
so
also lots of things wrong with it as well.
yes,
No, I'm
what
agreeing with you here. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, that's cool. That was proven.
Wait, like what phenomenon?
Mass attracting mass. You don't observe that anywhere on Earth.
But what I'd like to know is what are the issues that your model that you'd like to, talk about? Because you said there were a few, and I'm sure we'd agree with you.
Wait, me?
Yeah, you said that there were some problems.
Well, one of the main ones is that apparently the Earth's surface is moving at like 5,000 miles per hour or something like that. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. And the other one is the tides. Apparently the moon's gravity lifts the tides, and that's like billions and billions of tons of water we're talking about. However, it can't lift a feather. It can lift billions of tons of water, but not a feather. And that doesn't make sense to me. Like, we can't even feel anything. It's high tide, Like, there's a bunch of things wrong, and yeah. Plus, it looks flat as well.
Hey Zemo, you know what's the biggest one? With how do you have a gas pressure without a container? That's the biggest one.
Yeah, I agree. That one as well. Like, there's lots and lots of them.
Yeah, so without that, the whole orbiting up to that part, yeah. You see what we're saying?
Also, there's never been any scientific evidence of axial rotation or curvature or molten iron core that's self-perpetuating and feeding its own induction and giving it an electromagnetic field. All that stuff is like literally like there's no scientific evidence for it. We have to assume a lot of the things. Like for the core of the Earth, like they claim that we can bounce P waves and S waves to the core and it bounces back and gives us like data. But if you ever look into the Kola Deep Super Borehole, which was the Russians made, it was 7.6 miles deep. Their data didn't match with what they actually found down there. Like it was quite the opposite. They assumed that it was going to be a lot more dense rock the deeper they dug, but it was actually a lot more porous. It was like plasticky. It was really strange, and I believe they even hit water. And if you know anything about like PNS waves, like secondary waves don't pass through liquid.
Wait, so that's why gravity is a theory, correct? Because it can't be replicated in every scenario.
Well, it's a theory because they haven't been able to manipulate it. Like what they do in science is like, they do cause and effect relationships. So you have two types of methods. You either have non-experimental, where you lack the viable independent variable, which you manipulate. So you're literally just making observations. Like, I'll give you an example. Einstein theorized that light would bend around the sun, and then years later, someone looked at the sun like, oh, look, these starlights are bending around the sun. That's not a scientific method experiment where they're actually manipulating to show the cause of that. They're just finding correlation. And then you have the scientific method, which is cause and effect, which it has a viable independent variable. When that means you're going to manipulate that variable. I'll give you an example. Like, let's say I want to find out what gives me allergies. I'm allergic to peanuts and kiwis, but let's say I don't know what I'm allergic to, right? So what I do is I first take a kiwi one day. Let's say I'm not allergic to that, and the next day I take peanuts. I manipulated that variable. When I had intake of peanuts, I had an effect, which was allergic reaction to it. So that's how I was able to determine the cause of my allergy. So that's a cause and effect relationship experiment where you actually manipulate something to show an effect.
All right.
Thing that confirms it, which is completely different. So what they do is they come up with some model, and they say, well, if this model is true, all these things will be observed. So they go out and they try to observe all those things, and if they see enough of them, they say, well, my theory is right. But that's not an actual scientific theory. That's just, I don't even know what you would call that.
I'd call that reverse engineering, like observing things and then saying like you're gonna look for them when you've already even found them, and then you're gonna find them. That's how I see it. I see that as more of a reverse engineer type of thing.
Yeah, because saying you don't know is kind of embarrassing.
Well, in mainstream science, it is.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So they can't say like we don't know, like so they just gotta make stuff up.
Sorry if some of the stuff I'm saying isn't making much sense. I'm really tired. It's 2 a.m.
No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. But it's like so like if we want to know what causes things to fall, right? So we should be able to we would have to manipulate whatever it is out there, gravity, mass attracts mass, or whatever you think it is. We'd have to manipulate that cause and try and alter the rate of an object falling by manipulating that cause. Then we would know for sure that was the cause by our manipulations. But we can't do that. We know we can't do that. Well, we can't do it yet. And nobody has discovered a way to do that. So when they say, things fall because mass attracts mass, it's a theory, and it's not even a good theory.
Right.
It's not even a theory, it's a hypothesis.
Right. And that hypothesis was actually superseded by Einstein's curvature of space-time.
His hypothesis.
Right.
Yeah, this is you're kind of getting like little bits and pieces of stuff, man. But there's a whole history of this. It goes all the way back to the beginning. This stuff was built up over time. It's not like someone just came out. Newton didn't just come out and say, "Hey, I have a theory of gravity." He built on Kepler, and Kepler built on somebody else, and they built on somebody else, and so on and so forth, going all the way back to Eratosthenes with his first assumption that the sun was an infinite distance away and the rays of light were parallel. So from that assumption, the radius of the Earth comes, and from that, based upon that assumption, and then they just build on that, on and on and on and on and on. So if the Earth is a ball, right, because of parallel rays of the sun, and the sun is infinite distance away, how do we stay on it? Why aren't we floating away? Oh, shit, because it's a spinning ball. So we should be flying off. They need something to counteract that. So the only viable alternative is to come up with this metaphysical gravity, that mass attracts mass.
Well, gravity is brilliant because it allows the globe to behave just like a flat plane.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, it's perfect. It also replaces God. No,
it replaces. Yeah, it's got a G in it.
Yeah, I don't think that's a coincidence. That's why I say that. And it's at the center of the whole thing. It holds the whole thing together. And it created everything, so might as well be God.
It's kind of fucked up when you think about it. Is how many things that gravity has to fix, right? That without which this theory is just there's nothing there. So
it does it all. Gravity.
It does it all. But the thing is, it's the worst known of the so-called fundamental forces. They don't know what causes it. They don't know what the force carrier is. They don't know anything about it really in any significant way. They can describe it. You know, something falls at this rate, but that's all they can do. That's literally all they can do. But our whole worldview is based upon something on which we have the least amount of knowledge about. That makes no sense to me at all.
It's also it's the weakest force, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's almost indetectable. With the weakest force that causes the most amount of things to happen.
Well, the whole part of gravity, Newtonian gravity from Cavendish, that basically has anything to do with a ball, because even if these two lead balls did attract each other, let's just say that 100% is the case. The thing is that they then make an extrapolation and say, okay, there's all these other balls in nature that are attracting to each other due to this force. But the thing is that it's not even a small scale example of it, because if you're hanging two lead balls, that's not the same as two balls in space floating out there. So if let's say those two balls did attract, that means that mass could be attracting down to the Earth, because if the Earth is flat, let's say it's a huge massive mass, things are attracting, so it's still mass attract mass, if you really think that that's what it is. So there's no reason, even from Cavendish, to assume all of the globe and that whole worldview just from the actual Cavendish experiment. So even that is an extrapolation. Otherwise, if they do want to say mass attracts mass, it doesn't mean that it would be sticking to a ball.
I agree 100%. I saw a model of gravity that would work on the flat Earth, where if you have, like, say the Earth was a disc, not that I believe there's some, just throwing this out there for no apparent reason. If the Earth is a disc, and underneath that disc is some sort of mass or weight, you could actually get all the gravity to point in the right direction, parallel lines, if it was far enough away. Because you can do the same thing they do. You could say, hey, there's a big heavy weight underneath the flat Earth disk, but it's so far away that the gravity is parallel.
Yeah,
parallel gravity. So
right.
You can play all the same games. You can do all the same assumptions. I'm tempted sometimes to just construct the most retarded model, dude, that works mathematically on paper, but it's just utter rubbish.
Like T-Rex Earth.
Yeah, exactly.
Create like a math.
Dude, it's true. The math works.
Well, yeah, because from there, they're just taking the proposed distance at the equator, and then that's basically what they're using for, to make the size of this proposed ball is just that distance, which we do know the sun and the celestial objects, there is a celestial equator essentially between the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn in terms of the way the sun and the moon and the other planets and everything move. So yeah, they're just taking that distance and saying, that's the ball. And then this theoretical idea of things attracting each other all of a sudden makes us all sticking to the ball. But the whole thing is just a made up model. And yeah, you can make up other models that are just as logically valid of a possibility, but still not correlated with what's actually going on. Like multiple models can explain certain observations.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, Donut Earth seems like it would be pretty doable, actually.
See, then everyone would be happy. It could be concave, hollow, and convex all at the same time.
And I mean, who doesn't love donuts?
Yeah, like a Boston cream or a jelly
donuts.
It'd be Cop Earth then.
Cop Earth.
Well, I'm off.
All right, man.
All right, man. Come back. Feel free to come back. Follow up on that video, man. Trust me. Watch that video. You won't go to sleep. So maybe don't watch it. But yeah.
Either way, I won't go to sleep.
Yeah, give that video a watch, man. If you want more videos, like if you're interested in some Flat Earth videos, I got a couple. Just DM me and I'll send them to you. All right.
All right. See you later.
See you later, mate.
Peace.
Later, man.
Dude, that's the future right there.
Yeah, man. 13. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And he was a very polite young.
I'm waiting for someone's parents to come on here and start screaming at us. It's going to happen someday.
It happened already.
Yep,
Remember,
I'm going
Jose?
to get it big time off someone's parent. Actually, yeah, I'm waiting for that. I really am.
No, you remember that, Jose?
I'm ready for it. You know what? I'm ready for it because I have not said anything wrong to those kids. I've told them all, you must do your best at school. You've got to get your graduation and then you can choose what you want to do in life. I never lead them astray from what they should be doing as far as their parent. And I always tell them to respect their parents. Always.
Hey, Mitty. Yeah.
So they can. Parents can come at me. I don't care.
I do remember when I talked to that kid's mom for a long time.
It's still on YouTube. I'm sure we could find. That was so funny. They're from New Jersey. New Jersey.
Yeah. New Jersey.
Oh, shit. You could get stabbed.
Yeah, I think I told you the story. India was like this kid that he came in. He was already a flat earther, but he only knew about Celebrate Truth because he's Christian or something. And he's like a transgender something kid. I don't know. Like he's a little off, but whatever. Like he was looking into flat Earth and dude, I like flat smacked him for like an hour one day, and he didn't come back for like a whole month. And then he finally came back, and he was like, "Guys, my mom wants to talk to you guys. She's upset at me because like she thinks you guys indoctrinated me, and like now she thinks I'm crazy. Can you guys just tell her like it's not crazy?" So like, dude, we like started flat smacking the mom, and then she started asking me for my credentials after like 5 minutes. I was like, dude, that's not. He's like, where'd you go to school?
Not all education comes from a school.
Dude, I've learned so much more out of school. Like, I think I've learned way more out of school than I did in school.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't learn shit in school. I didn't learn anything in school, dude. That's the most useless place. I think I learned how to read and write. That's all I learned.
It's funny because I remember like when I first started researching into this, and I got like a little bit of knowledge on it, and I started like debating people on YouTube, like on ODG's live stream. They'd be like, "Where'd you go to college? YouTube school?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, dude! Like I didn't have to pay. It was free. You know, I get the same material. Like, why are you hating? You know, I got pretty much good like a good education off YouTube."
A lot of these people, they go to college, they don't even want to go. They just go because they think that's what they have to do to get a job. They wouldn't even go to college if they had a choice.
Yeah, that's why they have to pitch it like kids. Like, go to college, we got beer. Like you can't get beer anywhere. We got beer and knowledge. Come to college. Sign up. Don't worry about the debt. You'll pay it off. You'll have a kick-ass job.
You'll pay it off by the time you're 50.
Right.
I agree that about the only thing of value that I learned as well is just reading and writing. And the thing about that is you can pick that up on your own. I mean, when kids are around that age, they pick it up, just by seeing, hearing things and seeing things. And I mean, I don't even think you have to do that much to help. I think that's kind of a natural thing. I mean, I know like they're trying to teach all the, the nouns and vowels and participles, but at the end of the day, like everybody just learns how to put whatever they're saying. So they already can speak, and they've already heard that from their parents, which is very natural. All they have to do is figure out the letters and how to put it down. So, I mean, there is a little teaching that needs to be done because there are some like formatting and stuff, but yeah, that stuff comes pretty naturally anyways.
Like think of like how many times you learn the history of America in school, man. Like how many times you really have to learn about George Washington? I mean, seriously.
Right. Every year you take a new history class, 3rd grade, 4th grade. It's like
and it's the same stuff. Freaking 3 clowns: George Washington, right. Abraham Lincoln, and Ben Franklin.
I'm not gonna lie. I actually enjoyed
Copernicus and Kepler. Yeah.
I actually enjoyed my history class in 10th grade. It was on World War II. I thought World War II was so fascinating, dude. Oops.
Nowadays, you can just flip on the the History Channel and just watch that.
Or just watch Schindler's List and The Pianist and a couple of these other movies. You'll learn it a lot quicker. Might be disinfo, but I mean that's at least what they teach in schools.
Yeah, I think the History Channels. Well, yeah, I mean obviously they're not going to teach you. They're going to teach you the mainstream narrative of history and 9/11 and all that stuff.
Hey, dude, imagine when
not everything's mainstream. Every once in a while, ancient aliens will come on, shake things up.
Yeah.
Imagine when flat Earth becomes a thing and like the history books change because of us, and we're teaching history. It's like, oh yeah, and oh, one sec. Sorry guys, missed you guys with the punchline. Hold on.
I feel like that's gonna happen, and like all these live streams within Flat Earth and everything that's been coming out last couple of years, this shit is like history. Like people in the future are gonna be going back and listening to this, like, oh my god, I can't believe they just found out, like, and just all the characters and the whole unfolding of it.
Yeah, you're gonna see Jam Panda come out like in history books, like most anonymous troll that was destroyed by India and blah 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 blah.
Wolfie 620 dies in a plane crash.
How's it going, everyone? All right.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up?
Just woke up. Feels good to wake up in the daytime. I work nights, you see. It's like fucks my head up when I wake up and the sun's rising.
Yeah, I worked third shift for like a year, man. That shit'll mess with your head.
Dude, I worked for 1 year straight as a delivery guy for a meat company, like a truck driver. Commercial truck, actually. And I used to sleep 3 hours a day for a whole year straight. That shit fucked with me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. I used to see things because, like, I was so tired. I was getting delusional and shit.
Damn.
But then again, you look back at history or, like, some religious stuff, right? They always have, like, some mad revelation or some message given to them after, like, fasting for a while and being in a cave for 3 days and... Who knows, man? That's probably just one big trip. You start hallucinating after having no sleep or whatever.
Yeah, you have to pay for the drugs, Jose.
Right?
The burning bush and all that shit. I'm about to smoke one of them right away.
Yeah, but if you don't actually go to sleep when the sun is on the other side of the plane, like when the black sky is out, you actually don't get like the hormonal regeneration and stuff that the same way. Like even if you shut all the windows and you put eye shades on in the middle of the day and you sleep, you still are not getting the same actual sleep. And so if that's chronic, week after week, it definitely can have some negative effects.
Dude, I understand that. Like, so like if you look at the Gleasons, I'm pretty much living 180 off my meridian, off my time. Because I work 12-hour shift, but my dinner time is at like midnight. Do you know what I mean? So like my noon is mid-noon. Yeah, really. It would mess me up, but I guess that's why they pay a bit better. And I'm resilient as fuck. All the years gaming.
Yeah, well, yeah, there you go. I used to have to get out of work. I'd go to this place that would let us drink beer at 7 a.m. We'd catch a bus, then I'd go home. I had thick ass, like, not curtains, like tapestry, so that no sunlight could get into my room. It feels like a coffin.
Yeah, man. I bought some like eye blocker things, what do you call them? Like face mask goggle thing.
Like eye shade?
Yeah, like what the hell they call them? Blinds.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I don't know if there's a name for them, like dark blackout goggles or whatever. But anyway, it's about the actual physical light getting to my body also, isn't it? So I try and keep the room as dark as possible.
Yeah, I agree. That will help you sleep better, because if the light gets to your eyes, it has other effects. But I've even noticed a difference, even if I have everything closed, like all the lights and stuff. Like I'm pretty sensitive to where I could actually tell the effect of the sun, even when it's like behind the clouds versus in front of the clouds, like how that affects me. Even if I'm there's still an electromagnetic energy that's basically coming through.
Yeah. Astrologically, it's like there is some kind of stuff going on, and this it's all the serotonin, melatonin, that kind of like mix, between and that light. We need like pretty much. I've done that research too. You need pretty much blackout, and then you need to kind of. We are like plants, man, but right now I'm like a nocturnal.
Dude, it's weird because for me, any type of light bugs me when I'm sleeping. Like I'm one of those persons that if you go to my room, like any little thing that has a light, I put tape on it, like a black electric tape.
Yeah.
So my room is pitch black when I sleep because I feel like I can see it on my eyelids, even if it's like a really small light, and that bugs me. It gives me a headache.
Yeah, I meditate standing up, sleeping and walking and everything, man. You don't have time to meditate these days. Meditate going on the background, if you know what I mean. It's like you don't, once you get to a state of like, of that, you can walk and meditate. You don't need silence and dark and peaceful areas.
I used to meditate a lot, like a couple years ago, but I always had to meditate with music, with like binaural beats or something like that, because
Yeah.
I would get distracted too easily with sounds. Like I could never meditate to that point where like I could blot everything out. And it's really cool because when I started seeing these binaural beats, I try to get to a point where like I wasn't even thinking of anything. Like that was my goal. I'm like, I want to be able to just sit here and just be blank without thinking absolutely nothing. And it's almost impossible because by not thinking of something, you're thinking. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of really hard. But I got to a point where I would just like listen to the sound and then I would just blank out. And it was
Solfeggio are like a mix of binaural. I've done some research on solfeggio, and that's specifically it's hard to explain. Like same with the chanting. Like when I'm meditating, some of the tonal beats. When you got earphones on, you can match the pitch of it quite easily, right? And it's like practice. Good practice. It's like Skyrim. You raw.
Oh yeah, sure. for me, after like when you listen to binaural beats, like how you're saying, you could hear it like it's a U sounds like one sound, but once you start focusing so much, you can actually tell the sounds apart.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you can move your awareness between them both, or directly in the middle. And
yep.
You guys know about hemisync?
Yeah. That's the older research by what the fuck was he called? That dude, Robert Monroe. Pretty much all spawns from the science of because to be honest, I've no doubt it goes all the back to some kind of MK Ultra kind of shit, man. I'm sure they looked into all these vibrations and how they affect them brain waves and